Hey everyone, we are here, a Frisch perspective with my friend, my alien friend, Layman Apologist. We were discussing this before, technically
Irish
people from
alien.
different countries are aliens. So I'm an alien to you, you're an alien to me. We might be discussing aliens a little bit today.
We might. We might.
Are you
Oh,
oh, I was just going to say
wow.
something very otherworldly going on over
Yeah,
there
I
with the
just
different
blinded
lighting.
myself there.
And also, with whatever other topics we come up with, we're going to be starting off with some more taste testing with Tim. I've got today the Iron Brew that was sent to me from Tony. Thank you, Tony,
He
for
is not
sending
here
these from
yet.
England. Yeah, hopefully he'll show up here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't like the stuff enough that he sent me, and he's
No, normally,
boycotting.
normally when Tony's late, he's driving or he's been
You're
at a
right.
church function. So,
Oh, well, he'll have to watch the replay if he doesn't get here in time.
hey, Leslie, welcome in.
Yeah, good to see a lot of our crew here. Leslie,
Steely, Sam,
Sam, Seely. Yeah, great to see you all
Leslie.
here.
Good to see Zach there as well. Actually, he's just popped in.
Have any of you ever tried Iron Brew? Anybody out there? I know this guy has. It's from Scotland. I'll
The
read a little
Irish
bit.
cousins.
It. What was that?
The Irish cousins. Not
They're
that
your
they're not that they're Irish. They're the cousins to the Irish.
people who speak weird forms of English. That's
Hmm. But you see, English technically belongs to the English. That's
you're
why
right.
over here we've
You're
got
right.
Celtic,
Yes.
Ulster Scots.
All right. It wasn't your first language, is
No,
what you're saying. So you're still trying to figure out how to pronounce English.
no, we very proudly refuse to speak the King's English.
I see. It's intentional. You're like, we do not want to
Believe
pronounce
it
it
or
the way
not,
you
it
do.
actually is. Like when you look into our history, there's a reason why we hold on so tightly to Gaelic and the Scottish hold on to Gaelic, and between us we have Ulster Scots. It is
Well,
a way
I've
of
heard
defiance.
that the British kind of, especially the upper class, kind of intentionally changed some of their pronunciations, and this was like during or after the Revolution in
British or
America.
English?
I'm talking about. Well, yes, I should say the English.
Yeah.
The English. We call them the British because of the British are coming. Like we just lumped that all together.
Hmm.
We
Over
didn't just
here,
say
not
that
so
we
much.
didn't just say the English are coming. But yeah,
Primarily, it mainly was the English, to be
yeah, I
fair.
understand that. Yeah, I know you're distancing yourself here. You're like, hey, don't lump me in together. But well, you are the United Kingdom, right?
Or as some would call us, the United Caliphate.
Anyway, I don't know how true all this stuff is, but I did hear that the upper class kind of started changing some of their pronunciations to differentiate themselves from other classes,
Hmm.
and actually Americans, in some ways, pronounce things more old school, the way English would have been pronounced in earlier times
Hmm.
than today. So maybe we have the more authentic English here. I don't know. You're not buying that theory.
I don't know about that.
What is wrong with my English?
Nothing at all. I see Zach here says he tried some Iron Brew after hearing about it, but he doesn't think he got a very fresh stuff because it seemed flat. Yeah, if it was flat, you definitely did not. Because I wouldn't say Iron
I
Brew's
want to
far from
read.
flat.
Yeah. So first of all, it says Iron Brew Extra, original and best. What does original mean?
Original.
Like is it the original flavor or is it the original? What does original mean in
Yeah, but
this
that's what I'm
context?
asking. Do you mean in context of that, or
Oh
do you
yeah,
mean what
in
was all right?
context
Okay,
of
I
this
thought you were
can.
asking what the word original meant.
No,
In
I
that,
know what original.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
speak English.
Well,
I know this is in question
original,
now.
original in that context was, I think it goes back to one of their earliest TV adverts where they were trying to make it stand out from the usual brands of Coca Cola and all other sorts of things. So they were trying to say this is the original Scottish product. So,
The original Scottish product.
mhm.
And according to Layman, that this is kind of very hard to actually identify.
Iron brew is its own taste.
So let me read a little bit here. It says Iron Brew Extra, essence of Iron Brew, brewed in Scotland since 1901 to a secret recipe of 32 flavors with a spirit that's as bold as its taste. You can't describe it because there's nothing like it.
Now,
Okay.
I hope the audience heard that because on my end, your microphone did the muffled thing again.
Oh
But
no.
it could just be on my end.
Did anybody miss that amazing description of this?
I
It just
think,
said you can't describe it.
yeah, I think they would have heard it. It's more just your mic goes between clear to like more,
More
as I said,
muffled.
underwater. Also, folks, my camera's going to move around a lot. My Mac's had an update and it's enabled motion tracking, and I currently don't know how to turn it off, so bear with me.
So before I taste it, I should also show everybody again. Tony sent me all these items. I tried a couple last week. I tried the, was it the? It wasn't
You
the
tried the
fries.
dandelion and burdock.
Yeah, the dandelion and burdock, which
You
is
tried
the
the
drink in the
frazzles.
middle, and what was the frazzles,
Frazzles. Yep.
which is the red package, right
Yep. And the
underneath there,
Turkish delight.
and the Turkish delight. Okay, so what would be a good snack to go with the
Oh,
Iron Brew?
well, bring the picture back up.
Sure.
My
What you
memory's not
didn't
that
you
good.
didn't memorize the
No,
entire?
I did not. I would personally say with Iron Brew, the beef Monster Munch, if you have them.
I was thinking Monster Munch.
Yeah, and for the Freddo, you can't
So
have.
not the pickled onion Monster
No,
Munch.
the pickled onion will go really well with your Vimto, believe it or not. Hey, Philip, good
Uh
to see you.
oh. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roast beef.
Yep.
Roast
And
beef Monster Munch.
and for your chocolate, I would personally say crunchy. Because the Freddo is for your daughter, you're not allowed to eat that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can try a little bit of the country. I assume it's crunchy.
Yeah.
It'd be ironic if it was actually very chewy. It's both.
Ah, what's wrong with you pickled onion haters in the crowd?
No Marmite. No, I did not get any Marmite in this shipment. I think maybe the English are embarrassed about that and they don't want to send it to me.
I don't know, I think Tony's very into his Marmite from what I remember.
I think I've been seeing one of our mutuals online
Tiffany.
really praise it. Yeah, like
Tiffany, yeah.
she's loving it right now.
She is, yeah.
Hey, Philip, good to see you. The Orthodox Philip is there with us.
I did
Zach.
shout them out, but I don't think you heard me.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I can't multitask, so I'm gonna re-shout out just so you all know that I heard it too, or that I see you too. Yep. And then Dino is the one that asked about Marmite. Nope, no Marmite. But I love the packaging of the Monster Munch. I think that's really, really cute, really cool.
Also, good
No
to see you again,
artificial
brother.
preservatives. Baked, not fried. Okay. And then the Iron Brews also says extra taste, no sugar. So a lot of these drinks are just artificial sweeteners.
I told you before, all our
Yeah.
well, I'll not say all our drinks because Coke still contains sugar, but a lot of our drinks are all sugar free because they've got artificial sweeteners.
You might really hate to hear this, but look at what Dino said. Marmite is now
Dino.
owned by you. Oh, Dino. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. That's just my American pronunciation coming out here. Marmite is now owned by a USA company.
That's not going to affect me. That'll affect you. You're the one who doesn't like Marmite.
And Leslie said Marmite was like getting straight salt in a paste.
Again, like when you look into how both Marmite and Vegemite were made, it's like literally I forget what it is, but basically it's all the end product of another product. And again, for the people that enjoy it, they all say that you have to put on the slightest layer. So make of
Yeah,
that what you will.
but I'm pretty sure someone from I don't know if it was England. It was somewhere. It wasn't America. It was someone who's known for liking that sort of thing. Might have been an Australian who was eating, what's the other one?
Vegemite.
Vegemite, and they put quite a bit on.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're used to it, but whenever they tell people how to try it, they're normally like put on a very thin layer.
That's you. You know it's good if they're telling you, don't put very much on.
That's what I'm saying. Make of that what you will. Now, to be fair to them, if you do put on a very thin layer, you might as well have just sprinkled a bit of salt over your food because that's what it's going to taste like. But if you put it on a little bit thicker, yeah, it's got a really. I don't mind the taste of it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to put it on my food. Put it that way.
Let's hear if we get a fizz out of this.
Check it first.
Yeah, shake it. I don't want it spewing everywhere. Okay, sounded good. Yeah, it's fizzing. I can see it on the top. There's bubbles.
Yeah, that's why I say. Who was it again? Sorry, Sack. Sack got a flat one before, so yeah.
Are these supposed to be shaped like something? These
Yeah, like
monster munch?
little monsters' feet or
Oh,
hands.
monster feet or hands?
Yeah.
Man, I think my daughter would love this. I don't think she would like the taste of it though. She
The roast beef, she might. The pickled onion, I doubt she would like.
she's really particular. We'll put it that way.
Well, she definitely ain't gonna like the pickled onion.
she likes sweet things.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why
Okay.
Tony said give her the dib dab and the Freddo.
So do I drink first to get the taste of the drink in my
No,
mouth?
no, I want to see how you like the iron brew, so save it to the last. So you can try your crisps, then your chocolate, then go for your iron brew.
Oh, okay. So we're saving this. That's how big of a
Oh, I really
Yeah.
stand behind iron brew, put it that way.
Someone said they think I'm gonna like it.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't think you'll dislike it. What I think you will do, though, but is you will try and be like, it sort of tastes like, but it doesn't.
like I told you earlier, I'm just gonna start comparing everything to Iron Brew.
It has
That
no
tastes like Iron Brew.
has no comparison, my friend.
Okay, I got to because this is really crunchy. I'm not gonna blast everyone with that, especially people who are sensitive to chewing.
They're here for the ASMR.
Some kinds of ASMR are really like
I have misophonia, yeah, so
yeah. So
feel
you're
free
not
to
gonna want
mute.
to hear that.
Feel
Yeah.
free to mute.
All right, here we go.
Now, while you're doing that, McCormick and Company is the company, so American brothers and sisters will learn to love it. Well, yep, if it's now owned by an American company, they're definitely going to get a lot more of it. Now I see him pondering here.
Well, I feel like these snacks. I might have already said this. They're in the similar genre of like. We have like these. What are they called? They used to call them Andy's fries, and they were like crispy corn snacks. That's what it is. They're like these crispy corn snacks. But these are just different flavoring than anything I've ever had, and it's good. Like I guess it's supposed to be roast beef. I don't know that I would guess that. Like if you just handed that to me and didn't tell me what flavor, I'm not sure I could guess roast beef.
We'll try another because you only had one.
True. I'll try again.
Meanwhile, I will deal with this question from Joel. I don't know whether, Joel, this is actually intended towards me. Tony, you're late. Punishment time. Welcome in. Tim's got his snacks chosen for this evening. Joel, I don't know whether this question is intended for me, but I'll go ahead and answer it, and then when Tim's finished, he can answer it as well. Have I ever heard of dill pickle chips? I have, and I've even tried them. We have them over here.
Sounds really similar to the vinegar, the salt and vinegar ones that I sent you. No,
Not quite.
not quite. Okay.
He is on the Iron Brew, Tony, the Beef Monster Munch, and a Crunchy.
But I haven't tried the Iron Brew yet.
Yeah, it is the
Layman
first.
is making me wait for that for last. He kind of wants to build up because he thinks that's going to be really interesting. But these were very good. Everything that you've sent me has actually been excellent snacks. I actually think the flavors so far of everything I've had have been, they're maybe different, like especially the dandelion and burdock. but nothing that's like intense, like where you're like, ah, nothing so far to me has been intense. But like this, good, very good. Like I can kind of see the like I mean, it'd be like a very mild version of the flavoring you would get when that you kind of put on, what are they called? The noodles. I'm trying to think what they're
Ramen.
called. Ramen noodles. It's but not nearly as potent, but like kind of a light version of ramen noodle flavoring on corn snacks. So actually, yeah, really good.
Sorry to hear that, Tony. You can let us know his name if you're comfortable with that, and we'll pray for him.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. And then I'm gonna try the
Crunchy.
crunchy. So I have to save some of this though for my daughter. I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to eat any of these candy bars without sharing with her.
Well, that's true.
She's
And
got a
you're not allowed the Freddo at all. So remember
definite
that.
sweet tooth. Hey, that one just kind of broke off immediately. I think in shipping it probably
Yeah.
got broken up a little. That is not the texture I was expecting. I
See,
have
people
never.
always say this. Now, what I
Is it
will
styrofoam?
no, but it looks like it. Um,
Yeah, that's.
what I will warn
I'm gonna
you,
put this on full screen for a second because I want everybody to see. This is weird. It's hard to actually even see.
if you put it like in the center of your palm, it'll stop focusing on your face. There we go.
Wow, that is hard to
Now,
even describe what that
what I
looks
am
like.
wondering here is now I
Uh
don't
oh.
have a very sweet tooth at all, so I find all like chocolatey stuff very sweet. But I would say this is perhaps one of her sweetest tasting stuff because of the honeycomb inside it.
Oh, it's honeycomb.
So it'll be
Is it
interesting to
actual
see.
honeycomb?
No, 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 no. It's just made to,
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
That'd
replicate
be
it.
really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Would that be like super hard to keep
It would also be super
fresh?
expensive.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, I want to see whether you find this sweet. As sweet, I don't think you will, because to be honest, I really find you guys' chocolate overpoweringly sweet. So I don't think it'll match. But for me, on the UK side, crunchy is like top sweetness level.
Okay, so it's made by Cadbury. Let's see if there's any. This is not a resale package, so it's got pretty limited information on it. Says it contains milk. Yeah, it says for ingredients and nutritional information, see outer pack. I don't have that, so who knows what I'm putting into my body right now? But
Bad stuff.
it's not anything worse than what we have here, right?
True. Yeah, Tony, that's why I made him wait for the pickled onion ones, because you weren't here, so I didn't want you to miss it. So I went with beef.
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna start crunching on this. This is gonna be muted while I chew on this.
Here we have a wild Tim eating a crunchy. His face is making very interesting, very interesting faces here.
Okay. The taste is unique. It is unique, actually. I haven't had a candy
Yep.
bar that tastes quite like that.
Hey, pup.
It has a little bit of a stickiness that it lasts on your teeth when you're chewing it, and it's good. Definitely really sweet, but not. I don't think it's like overpoweringly sweet. But yeah, you definitely have to have a sweet tooth to like it.
Oh, for here it is now.
Yeah.
Again, all hands up.
Yeah.
I don't have a sweet tooth, so for me,
Right.
crunchy's like sickeningly sweet.
But that texture is so weird. It is crunchy, but in kind of like almost like it doesn't want to crunch at first.
It
Then all
sticks
of
to
a
your teeth
sudden,
as well.
yeah, it's good. Like it's not hard, but it's very firm, almost cracks.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it just really surprises you. It's a very unusual texture. And it does look like styrofoam or some sort of like I don't know, synthetic substance. It's hard to describe it, but it's good. It's pretty good. I'll have to. I can't wait for my daughter to try that. Actually,
Hmm.
that is really cool. Thank you so much, Tony. This is fun to
Hmm.
try these weird snacks that you guys have.
He also said the friend's name's Chris, and he actually listened to him talk about Jesus for the first time in 25 years. So praise the Lord for that. We'll be praying for him, Tony. And don't worry, I reminded him the Freddo and Dib Dab are off limits.
Yep. And I'm gonna make sure, no matter what I have here, I share some of it with my daughter. But yeah, we'll probably do the Freddo and Dib Dab on the other channel.
Hmm.
All right,
Now
time for the
for
Iron
the
Brew.
grand finale. Also, before you do that, just a reminder to people when they come in: if I'm giving you motion sickness, apologies. It's an update on my computer, and the motion camera's going everywhere.
Are you getting it to follow you?
No, I'm trying to sit as still as possible, but I've noticed when I'm a hand talker, so when I do that, sometimes the camera goes on and
It's
off.
following your hands.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Since 19, what did it say? 1901. 125-year-old, whatever it's called, soft drink.
Mhm.
Now, wait a second. I do have a question. You may not be able to answer this. It says extra taste, no sugar, but it's been brewed since 1901. What were they using in 1901? I mean, did it have sugar originally? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Did they just like
I'll Google it, but I don't think so because it's still the same recipe unless they changed it and I didn't know.
because now it has like sucralose and stuff like that, which they wouldn't have. Oh, aspartame. Yeah, I don't think they were using aspartame originally. Maybe honey?
I doubt it.
Nah, it'd be too distinct. We'd
Yeah.
know what it tastes like if it had honey. He's researching what this originally was made with, while everybody waits with a bated breath as I'm about to try this iconic drink.
Yeah, it originally used sugar and the recipe. I don't know when the recipe updated, but apart from the switch to uh, sweeteners, the recipes remained the same.
Okay. So you don't have a sugar version anymore? Would you guys outlaw sugar?
We actually do have a sugar tax, so if you buy a soft drink over here with sugar in it, it will be really expensive.
You know, it's funny because Tony just said they use sugar in the original, but not in the diet.
I don't think they
But
do anymore.
this
Yeah,
says original.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think they do anymore because even when I'm looking here just at their website, it
It's
says that
all diet now, no
it's
matter
not,
which one.
it's not even that. It just says that they have artificial sweeteners.
Okay, well, do they have a diet one, I wonder? That would be funny. Like, what would be the
They
difference?
do. It comes in like a silver can though, but and to be honest, I don't think it tastes anywhere near the same.
Now, that's confusing me
He,
because
he,
in
did, he did say use, not use. He meant to say.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, in the U.S., if it's got fake sugar, that makes it diet. Like, what would even be the difference? That is interesting.
Well, sweetener's not the only thing. My camera's gonna go wild here, folks. Apologies. Sweeteners wouldn't be the only thing in here that you guys are going to get a tour of my room at this stage if this camera doesn't settle yourself, Nelly. But yeah, no, the diet versions doesn't have the same taste. Anyway, let's get to the grand finale here.
First of all, I made sure that it went in my mouth this time. That's already an improvement over
It
last week.
is. Yep.
You know, I gotta say that what you're gonna this is gonna this is gonna be really controversial
I can already
because
tell.
I'm going to like actually say what I think it tastes like, which you're not supposed to do. For some reason in my mind, and this might be because of an American palate where we don't use artificial sweeteners and everything, there's something almost fruity-ish about it that I wasn't expecting. Does that surprise you to hear me say that?
Not really. Some people do say that, but I've also heard really wild opinions on what people think Iron Brew tastes
You
like
know
because they can't
why?
pinpoint it.
You know why that might be? Because I do drink things now like and not all the time, but occasionally. You have such a huge he's going to need to take a break soon.
Hey, I need hydrated.
But I do drink occasionally. We have like these probiotic sodas now that are supposed to be healthier. I don't think they really are. But things like Poppy, I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like that. Like they'll have fruit flavoring, but it's so synthetic. Like, so now my brain just thinks that's fruity, even though, it's not really fruity. And I feel like that's what this reminds me of. One of those kind of healthy-ish sodas.
Interesting, because Iron Brew would not be seen as healthy.
No, I'm not talking about actually healthy, but what is marketed in the US as an alternative to the sugar sodas.
Yeah, I still find it weird though, but because uh, it's not that I've never heard fruity before, but as I say, I normally get very wild opinions and people trying to pinpoint this.
Oh yeah, fruity would be oversimplification. But it just surprised me when I first tasted it. It had a little bit of a parallel with some of those drinks that we have now that are made with artificial sweeteners that
Hmm.
are supposed to be mimicking some sort of, you know, fruit soda, but not like grape soda or anything like that, but I don't know. Sam said Olipop is the best. I've had that.
She's a big Olipop drinker.
I'm told Iron Brew goes well with vodka. Well, I'm not going to test that one out.
I don't know.
Then you really can't tell what it tastes like.
Well, to be fair, they did make an Iron Brew vodka once, so he may be onto something. Joel also said Coca-Cola used to be made with cocaine in the late 1800s and early 1900s. That is true.
That would give it a very different effect for sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up this question too from Philip. Layman, do you speak Irish? And what do you think about the language?
I love it. I am not a fluent Irish speaker. I am learning more about my language as it goes because I want to become a fluent native speaker. So if you asked me to speak it right now, you would put me on the spot and I couldn't. But I am slowly learning Irish as I go because, like I said in previous podcasts, the older I'm getting, the more I see the need to preserve my country's language because it really is dying out. So over this last year or so, I put in a lot of effort into learning Irish, and I would say I could handle myself in conversation with another Irish speaker, but to just speak it on the spot, I would be less confident. But if you have a question about the Irish language, if that's why you're asking, I could perhaps answer it for you. Or otherwise, maybe you're just wondering if I like my own language.
Also, like, do you find it pretty natural to pronounce it?
Being raised without it, no.
Uh,
That's why
that's tough.
I'm well into a year of learning it, and that's why I wouldn't say I'm overly confident in speaking it. Now I can read it quite well. Speaking it,
And Joel had a question about it too. Is it Gaelic?
yes and no. There's Gaelic and there's Gaelic, and Gaelic and Gaelic's different in Scotland and Ireland. But yes, simple answer, yes.
Oh, okay. It is.
Simple answer.
I'm just reading
Neve
comments
Carl,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Who sings Irish sometimes is very beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
It's honestly a truly beautiful language. Like I really do enjoy it. And that's why I'm putting an effort to be more fluent in it. But no, I was raised all my life. with the with the Irish language being downplayed because of the whole situation of the troubles over here. So it was just, oh, we speak English because we're under British rule or whatever. And the younger half of my life, I probably definitely identified more with my British ancestry versus my Irish ancestry. As we're now that I'm getting older, I see value in both. But because of how much I've lived my life without my Irish ancestry, that's why I lean more into that side of it now, which you will see in all my websites. Don't have one, but you will see in all my branding. I lean into the Irish style very much so because I'm proud to be Irish and British.
I'm proud to be an American.
No one asked about your language, Tim. Questions are for the Irish here.
Sorry. I know it's probably tiresome to hear Americans talk about America.
No, I actually quite enjoy it. Like honestly, a
Uh,
lot of, and I don't just say this because like a lot of my uh, mutuals, especially on X, who have become more than actual mutuals. Like they've become actual friends. Like I have their phone number, they have my phone number. I have made a lot of close friends who, Lord willing, whenever I do come over for a visit, there's been a lot of people offering to put me up and cook dinners, and so
I bet you probably
yeah.
have you have to
Oh, there's
come up with a
literally
tour of
there's a tour route planned, and I'm
yeah.
not actually joking.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Well, it'd be awesome to have you here if you're able to make it.
Oh, I'll definitely be able to make it. It's just you know what the situation is behind the scenes, but I'm just a little bit tied here in this
Yeah.
location at the moment. But when the Lord takes care of that situation, we'll be free to roam around.
Now, I wanted to ask. Seeley was saying that the suppression of native languages is sad. Seeley, I can't remember where you live, because the name doesn't sound American, but
Hmm. Well, just a rough location.
yeah, no, we want your address.
No.
um, and then also, Leslie said I'm American with Scottish and Irish and English roots. Scottish, Irish, and English roots. French, German, Dutch, Norwegian roots. That's so typical of Americans. We're like, we can trace our roots back to Europe, but various countries and stuff. It's really
Well, think about how your country was formed. Like you
exactly.
guys were,
We all intermarried.
it's that, but it's also, it was people from different nations, like literally coming in to help form
Yeah,
America, so to speak. But yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
But we somehow have we kind of trace that lineage. Like I've told you before, I can trace my mother's side back to William Brewster on the Mayflower, who came from England. And then another
Oh,
question
sorry for the
from
noise,
Philip.
folks.
Um, I heard there's a movement to restore Irish in Ireland. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, certainly is. Um, the Irish language is. Oh, it's been a while since I last checked the stats on this, but it's pretty shocking. In the entirety of Ireland, including North and South, I think there's like 32% of the people know how to speak Irish. So, very, very low. There is an effort to restore that. But let's just say the British doesn't always make it easy, especially in the north, because of the school curriculum, they often don't allow Irish to be taught. So
You're saying that the English are oppressing you
yeah,
with their Englishness?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm here with an oppressed class.
Hmm. There would be like, look, let nobody mishear me. I have English people I love. I don't blame the English people, but certainly
Mm.
from a ruler point of view, the Irish and the English historically do not like each other.
So you're
Me and Tony hate each other, yes.
Well, you are the United Kingdom. Oh,
Hmm. But that's the dispute. Oh, see,
ah,
look, the camera's doing the weird thing. See, it's my hands. I'm just going to try and keep my hands down.
whoa, that's
It's
cool.
going to make someone motion sick because even me looking at it, it's very distracting. I'll try and have it fixed for the next podcast we do, but
It's
I
true.
need I
You're
need, I need an upgrade in a camera anyway. So, but what I was going to say is the Irish and the English have a very rough history together. So it would be underplaying it to say that we get along because we don't.
I see. Yeah, and obviously it's like the partially United Kingdom because that big chunk of Ireland that's not part of the UK
Hmm.
is independent. So
And
obviously
Scotland
there,
and
yeah,
Scotland wants independence. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like the United Kingdom is not
mm,
all that united, and this is
right.
not me trying to bring politics into this, but I'm just going to say briefly, not everyone, because of the way our structure works, the Scots don't like having the English be the home of Great Britain, so to speak, like the centre of it, with a PM that is British, or sorry, English is what I meant to say.
Mm.
The Wales, the Welsh, they kind of are just happy to exist. They don't really want to bother with anyone, so no one really has an issue with the Welsh. The Scots and the Irish are so closely related that we share similar struggles and also similar disdain of the English. But again, not the English people themselves. The English people themselves are lovely. It's often the government and the power structure. It's very deep history. So like I don't want anyone to come in here. I know Tony will not take it this way, but I don't want anyone to come in or to watch this later and think, oh wow, he hates English people. I don't.
No, that's evident. You don't hate English people, but that is interesting. That makes sense. I mean, by the way, Seeley did inform us from Washington State.
Mhm.
Whoa, you're way out there from
Mhm.
where I am. Okay, and the name Seeley is combination of Crystal Lee.
Mhm.
That's cool. Seeley. That
Mhm.
makes sense. That's cool.
Mhm.
So that's why it doesn't sound American, but it actually is. And then Tony said United Kingdom or Untied Kingdom, depending on how you
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
those letters.
Look, I'll make this clear. I wouldn't be for the dissolution of the United Kingdom. I think the United Kingdom has a lot of strength when it's together. But the problem is the way our governments are set up. It There's just too many power pulls in play because the English have their own parliament, the Scottish have their governance, the Welsh have their own, and the Northern Irish we have our own as well. And where the Northern Irish also feel really put out is we are under British rule, but we don't get to have a direct say in who the Prime Minister is, which is. Mm,
Okay. You don't have a direct say.
no, so whenever we vote in Ireland, so whenever there's an election for the PM, we vote
Mm,
for our local parties that will enter our government in Stormont. But they
okay.
don't really have any direct influence on the UK government, as in like who becomes PM. Now, if someone wins the election and they don't have enough seats to form a majority government, there can be times where, like for example, the DUP might join, say, the Labour Party or the Conservative Party to give them a majority, and
Mhm.
that's where we would have a little bit of say. But that happens so rarely that yeah, most people over here get very put off with
Yeah.
the elections and things like that.
Hey, we don't like taxation without representation here. We have a really hard time with that here.
Well,
You might have heard something about that.
taxation is theft.
Yep. And when we weren't being represented, we were like, okay, we're out of here.
Tony's joking. I have other reasons to hate him. Even then, Tony, I could never hate you, my friend. We just have disagreements.
Possibly. You're not completely aligned theologically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, you've never seen that, Tim? No. Me and Tony agree on quite a lot. It's just the minor things we disagree on, and he's
He's our
very charitable with
token,
it.
our token Wesleyan.
Yeah, and Tony's also very charitable with it. Like he holds his convictions, which I respect, and he also allows others to hold their convictions as well. And to be honest, that's a rare quality in people, especially online, because online it's just you either believe my way or you're not a Christian.
Yeah, and I mean we've got Orthodox Philip there,
Mm-hmm.
so we're kind of all over the place theologically here.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm curious, like I don't know how many of you have ever shared, but if you want to share what your how you would describe your affiliation or denomination or whatever, feel free to put. You don't have to, but if it's something you're comfortable sharing, I'd just be curious what other groups are represented there. Okay.
I'm just going to, while you're doing that, I'm going to take a quick look to see if I can work out how to turn this motion tracking off because it's starting to make me get annoyed.
I'm gonna show a video. It's nothing really serious, but just something that thought we could react to while you do that.
Yep.
You could just half pay attention to it.
Yep.
I don't know. This just one of those videos that I happened to see that I was like, I think I'll share this today. See what you think of this. A little bit humorous. So this says, me and my husband versus him and his fish. And I'd love to hear if people have thoughts on this. Okay. I'm curious if that's universally like when that guy is with his wife, if he never ever smiles in his pictures with her, or if they just selected pictures, based on this. But if that's true,
I would say it's pretty common. I have been known to do this. Like, I don't smile in pictures very often, but if you get me in a picture with Rolo, I instinctively smile. I don't know why, but I do.
Uh-oh. Well, I smile in every picture if I know I'm being photographed.
I just find, I don't know what it is. I don't like pictures. I find them very. It's very rare I will like a picture of myself because like, I'm normally quite critical of myself and how I look. So it's very rare that I will get a picture of myself that I like. Hence my profile picture that was done by a friend, but it was professionally done.
Hmm.
She actually somehow managed to make me look decent looking. So in that, I was like, I like that, and I'm gonna use that. But apart from that, I do not like pictures. The only reason I smile when I'm in a picture with Rolo is just because he brings a lot of joy to me. So
That's interesting. Like that guy with fish.
yeah.
He's
And
very
again,
happy when he.
in his defense, it's not that his wife doesn't make give him joy. It's just, look, this is probably going to get me thrown off the internet here, but women love taking pictures constantly. Men don't always want to be photographed. So that poor dude is probably just a little bit like, oh, not another one, hence that face.
Unless it's with a fish. Then he doesn't mind being photographed.
I know, but how often is he going to be fishing versus how often is she saying, hey, pose for a picture?
Well, it depends on the couple. I don't think my wife is ever begging to get photographs.
Also, Tim, I am still going to be here. I'm just going to turn off the camera for a moment because this motion tracking is really getting to me, and I'm going to try and work and fixing
Okay.
it. But I'll still be here and talking.
Okay. I don't. Can you do me a favor,
I was going to say
Layman?
you can keep me up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay. Yeah, I'll I'll put you back. I'll put the screen back even though it's blank because I don't know if anybody can hear him
Yeah, you
if
can.
I don't.
No, no,
Well,
not
now
when I
you
go off.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what I mean. So I'll keep you there, your audio there, um, and then also Joel did say he's a provisionist Southern Baptist, and you've interacted with me some through messaging me. So I was aware of that, or I think I would have guessed that based on some of our interactions that you were a Southern Baptist, provisionist Southern Baptist. Okay, yeah. So, and he also said he doesn't agree with Reformed theology, but enjoys listening to us. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I think that's how a lot of people are. There's definitely a lot of people. I mean, and people have seen Layman and I talk many times. We don't fully agree with each other either.
Nope.
So we don't expect the audience to totally agree with us. But at the same time, we have a lot of agreement too. And I think that's true with the audience. There's a lot of areas we overlap, but
Yep.
also areas we would disagree with for sure. So when we're talking about certain subjects, I'm going to enlist all the people who agree with me if it's different than what Layman believes.
Okay.
But
I don't know.
he'll do
I
the
don't know
same.
if I've fixed this, but I think I have. So, well,
Like
it's not.
sometimes I'm outnumbered. I'll have like two Presbyterians
There we
here and
go.
I'm like, "Help, Baptists in the audience, help me." But then sometimes we outnumber Layman and, he has to enlist help too. So,
Well, look, here's what I would say whenever it comes to the whole online discourse thing. And this is not me saying this to put anyone down. We all have a tendency to unfortunately demonize the other person's position because we have strong disagreements with it. But normally, when you sit down and you talk with someone of a different theological persuasion, you have far more in common than what you don't have in common. And even in the areas where you disagree, sometimes you end up coming away going, I still don't agree with him, but I actually now slightly understand better his position. Because a lot of times, and this is not in reference to Joel, I'm just saying this because this is a comment I am used to hearing so often. People really do build straw men against Reformed theology where God is this big, mean, capricious monster where, he just arbitrarily decides who is saved and who goes to heaven. If that's honestly what you think Reformed people believe, you have never listened to any of us in your life. And I say that respectfully. We do not believe that God arbitrarily chooses anything. We don't believe anything that he does is coincidental, anything of those natures. That's not me getting into that topic right now. All I'm saying is that's a common one that is normally thrown the reformed person's way. Oh, well, you just believe some people are arbitrarily damned to, hell. And it's like, no, that's
mm,
not what we believe.
mm. Yeah. It's very hard. Sometimes it's because we don't want to understand, but a lot of times it's just because if you're not if you haven't come to a place of fully like embracing and understanding it fully, it's just hard for your brain
Hmm.
to fully get what the other person is saying.
Hmm. Yeah, no, Joel, I know you do, brother. That's why I'm saying that's not directed at you. That's just a general comment because that's normally what's thrown at reformed people. Um, but you know, the reform do this as well. We also tend to look at other groups and we would be like, oh, you have such a low view of God that, blah, blah, blah. I hate that type of thing and I call it out in my own camp. Because the one thing that I constantly say, both on this show and on my own platforms, still man your opponent's position for multiple reasons. One, you want to be charitable to a brother and sister in Christ. Two, even if you don't believe someone is a brother and sister in Christ, because I know there's some people on X that genuinely don't believe Reformed brethren are brethren. Okay, that's your opinion, right? But you should still seek to be charitable because if you don't believe that person is saved and that they're representing a false view of God, then you should seek to correct them. But you're not going to correct them by saying, here's what you believe. And it turns out it's not what we believe. Because guess what? We're going to look at that and go, that's not what we believe. Why should I listen to you? And then third, the reason why you should stillman anyone's position is if you're burning a straw man, you've done nothing. Knock down the stillman, and then you might actually accomplish something. So, but again,
Mm.
that's a general statement, and it's not directed at Joel. I like
Right.
Joel; he's here quite a bit.
And a couple comments kind of speaking to, I think, the mindset a lot of people here have. Tony said, at the end of the day, as long as we agree on the essentials, the rest is not a hill to die on.
And his other
And
comment
then
there as well.
Seeley
Oh,
said,
you're
you guys don't push heavily on the Reformed Calvinistic thing, so I'm cool
Tim's
with you
not, by the way.
guys.
Yeah.
And I think it's an issue when we push secondary, tertiary issues as if they are core primary things.
But you might want to clarify, Tim, you're not in that camp, it's me.
Yeah, so when we talk about Reformed theology, and it's interesting because Leslie here, this would be not that I would necessarily
It's
completely
easier.
line up with John MacArthur, but MacArthur is a good example of like someone who people might classify as Reformed, but it depends on what you're talking about. Some of my views might lean or line up more that way, but the Reformed community doesn't own Baptists. No, some of them definitely don't. But then even if you're talking about fully Reformed, like people who consciously call themselves Reformed Baptists, they wouldn't necessarily agree with all of my views either. I think you'd have to be strongly confessional is one of the things. You have to be like, I believe in this confession, usually tied in, very much with the Reformation era. But anyway, Leslie here said she's in line with John MacArthur. That's easier to type than all the things. I hear what you're saying, yeah. And I think a lot of us have like this kind of a mixture of different streams, which I think can be good. I mean, I love to hear different viewpoints. That's what's great about this platform, because I want to hear and be informed by the best of different backgrounds, and it helps me, just like you said, to if I'm going to disagree with someone, I want to disagree with what they actually believe, not with a caricature or misrepresentation of what they believe. I want to actually know what it is I'm disagreeing with. But that being said, I think probably someone like Leslie, me, our orientation is just we want to be scriptural. That's how we would describe ourselves. Oops, sorry, I already showed that. And then Tony also said he was a Free Will General Baptist for 32 years, and then a Free Methodist Church. Is that what that is? For the last 12. Okay, I didn't actually realize that. If you had said that, I forgot. I didn't realize you were Baptist
Back up.
for 32 years. See, you're smiling now.
Well, yeah.
Take a picture, everybody.
I'd rather you didn't right now, but anyway, right, bro. Come on, come on, come on. You've had your camera time. Come on. Okay, I'm just gonna have to let him sit here for a minute.
He's not moving.
He's definitely not moving.
So, Rollo, since you're here, what denomination are you?
He's free doggo.
Free Doggo.
Free doggo denomination. Good.
You ever hear that there's like a book, I think, about cat theology versus dog theology? Have you ever heard that? It's really funny.
There's also online videos of it too.
Yeah.
It's on Instagram. But going back into the topic that we were saying there for a minute, here's you will never find me debating other Christians online. No, I don't mean you won't find me like, having discussions or whatever, in comment sections, but you'll never find me having an online debate with another Christian, even if we strongly disagree in matters, because my entire goal is to work against actual cults, things like, Islam and Jehovah Witnesses and, come on buddy, down, good boy. That's my entire goal. I'm not going to spend my time infighting with other Christians. And it's not because that type of work's not fruitful. It is. We should have those type of discussions. We should. But it's my experience that also often it just ends up, you're not a Christian. You're not a Christian. you believe this, that's a heresy. That's a heresy. Now, the word heresy gets thrown around like nobody's business, and it doesn't even take into consideration at times what the word heresy actually means. But more importantly, I'm ecumenical in the sense that I don't downplay differences we have across denominations. But if someone is with me on the absolute essentials, I do not debate them because I see them as a brother and sister in Christ. So that's normally why. Cause I get it from both ends. I get people telling me I'm too ecumenical, and then I get other people saying that I'm too harsh with certain groups, and so you'll never please everyone. But the one thing that I do aim to do is I'm not going to kick someone out of the kingdom because they hold to a slightly different theology from me. So
So Tony just said dogs are Pelagians. They're always, yeah, sinless perfection. Is that what he's referring to?
no, 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 no. He's referring to the fact that
Oh, right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. That
yeah,
they're actually good by nature, or they have a good within them.
yeah. As where
Yeah,
the joke is that the Calvinists will often say there's none good, no, not one.
yeah. There's no good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But then again, doesn't it say like dogs won't enter the kingdom or something like that in the Bible?
no.
Oh, beware of dogs. That's what it says.
Well, it also just says don't give what is holy to the dogs. But
Don't
then
give with holy dog.
But then in another passage, Jesus refers to a woman as a little puppy.
Okay, yeah, I can tell you're defending dogs here. You don't want them excluded.
I have every reason to hope, not going to say believe, but hope
Oh,
that your pets will be in glory. Now, that's not a dogmatic view that I hold, but it's one that I trust because I know my God's character and his nature. And I think if there's a pet that means a particular very special thing to people, I don't know. I don't know. That
I
wouldn't
can
mean
tell.
that
I can tell C.S. Lewis came from your part of the world because that just sounds like him. You know, the
I
talking
people oh
animals.
yeah, people don't realize how much like C.S. Lewis had a huge impact on me. Still has a huge
Mm.
impact on me. But if people read my articles and stuff, some of the kindest compliments I have ever had is things like people like a guy left a compliment in my article one day that said that sounds very Lewis, and I'm like, yes.
I think Tony picked up on this. Did you say dogmatic?
Dogmatic. Yep. But yeah, because I have had this question. I get asked this in emails a lot too, especially whenever someone's lost a beloved pet or something. They're like, "Do you think they'll be in glory or whatever?" And I'm like, I can't give a definitive answer on that. Do It's my hope that they will be. They may not be, and you will not be robbed of anything in glory if your pet is not there. You're not going to be robbed of anything. Let me put it that way. But if it is there, it's going to be a bonus. Does that mean that I believe that every animal that's wild and exists out in the wild and doesn't have an owner is going to be there? No, I don't. I don't think so. I think there'll definitely be creations, so like horses and stuff, and do believe obviously there's going to be animals in the kingdom. But I'm speaking specifically about pets that mean something to people.
That is a whole area of. I know it's speculative, but
Hmm.
that's just like hard to even like imagine what that entails. Like, well, first of all, I was going to say, like, would that include my? We have a pet turtle here, Sherlock. Will Sherlock be in heaven, like pet turtles,
See,
or our several beta fish that we've had over the years?
well, you see, this is the distinction I would make because you're right. This is speculative. That's why I said I could never give a concrete answer on that. I'm just going to say this is my personal hope. But here's my line for it. I think the pet would have to really truly mean something to you. So like, I'm not saying this in a horrible way, but like
Oh,
me growing up, I had like 13 goldfish. Are those goldfish going to be, in my view, this is what we're talking about. Are those goldfish going to be in glory? I don't think so, because like I didn't really assign any value or any love or whatever to those goldfish.
but
As
if you
were
did, If
Yeah,
there
but
was a goldfish that you like truly loved and cared about.
I,
If there was a person who truly loved a
yeah, yeah.
goldfish.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I say it's very speculative. But what
Yeah.
I would appeal to is God being such a good, loving father who knows, like, say, for example, Rolo dies, I will be heartbroken when that happens. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that when I enter glory, I could be, it's probably not going to be the first thing, but could I be greeted by Rolo as, a potential reward? Sure.
Hmm.
So I think if it offers people a little bit of hope, even if
Mhm.
it's not being said dogmatically, like, yes, this definitely is. I also see Philip's comments here.
Yeah.
I do agree with him. I just don't.
Animals will be saved. It's biblical. And then he quotes Psalm 36:6.
And there's
O
a lot
Lord, you
of people.
preserve man and beast. Okay, so here was the other thing I was going to bring into this.
Hmm.
Wouldn't that mean then that they would have to have resurrected bodies? Because they would have to have bodies that can last like ours will last, incorruptible bodies. That's
Well,
an interesting theology I've never really
well,
considered.
it says all creation will be restored. So if animals are part of the
If
things
we
that
can
will
have
be.
that, they could too.
Well, whenever you look at Paul's language and he talks about different I'm just going to say species here, different species having different types of flesh. Yeah, I think you could argue, like, I don't think anyone's going to use the phrase that, animals will have a resurrected body. But what I'm saying to you is, I do think Paul is clear that when it says that the creation itself will be restored, will that include animals? Yeah, because they're being restored back to the order they were in the beginning. There was no death.
It's
So,
just interesting because yeah, resurrected body tends to speak of a continuity, and that's kind of what I hear you saying is like you actually think Rolo, for example, it'll still be Rolo. It won't be like another dog just like him. It'll actually be Rolo.
mhm.
Yeah. All right. So Leslie said if God thinks you need your pet to be there, they will. If not, you're right. You won't be missing any perfect joy.
Exactly. That's why I say, regardless of whether people fall in this or not, or agree with it. Also, Philip, don't worry, we got the joke. I hope Tim brings it up in a minute. Um,
I will in a second. I'm trying to get all the comments
yeah, yeah.
about pets. We got Sam who said, "I hope to see my beloved pets in heaven,"
Hmm.
and Celie said, "I want a pet cheetah when I go home to the Lord."
Hmm. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, whenever you read the passages of scripture that does talk about animal life in the kingdom to come, right? It's clear that there will be animals. Like, God didn't create animals to just not have them in the new heavens and the new earth, right? So, what would be, and again, this is speculative, but what would be more consistent with God's nature, His goodness, His mercy, His kindness, for you to be reunited with a pet that you truly valued, or just a random, wild animal? Like, don't get me wrong, we're still going to admire the animals, think they're beautiful, we'll interact with them, and it'll be um, the way it was truly meant to be from the beginning, man having dominion over the animal. But I don't know. I just think it's. I'm not saying it's definitive. I just
Yeah.
think, yeah, it could well be a very pleasant surprise for a lot of people.
And to give a little bit more of a creedal affirmation, we have the
Hmm.
Nicene Creed, one holy Catholic Church, apostolic,
Catholic,
Catholic,
Catholic.
Catholic.
Those cats will be there.
And just to clarify, that one was a joke. Tony said he doesn't believe pets will be raptured, but that's because he's not a dispy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Um, I think you might have missed one about Leslie there. She said, "Look at
hmm,
my above comment."
okay. About the new heaven and new earth.
Yeah, I don't see it in my end, but maybe you do. Yeah, did you not bring up the one where she says if
Um,
God thinks you need your pet? No?
okay. Here's the way I've settled on the subject. Our pets may not be in heaven when we die, but they will be in the new heavens and the new earth. That may be wrong, but it comforts me.
Sure.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Hmm.
So you're talking about in the eternal new
Yep.
creation.
Hmm.
Maybe. I still think if you believe that, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but you're saying that your pet with its particular soul has to be resurrected, like it, because otherwise it's not actually the one you had. Whereas I'm not sure.
So I would say it will be restored. I don't know if I would say resurrected. That language is used specifically of humans because we're united to Christ in the resurrection. Animals are not united to Christ in that sense. It just says that they'll be restored. But
The
is it?
reason I say that word though is because you would have to have the same soul. You would, for a pet would
But
somehow have to be the exact same pet.
exactly, but that makes the assumption that what would have this soul be there is that the physical body of that animal would have to be resurrected. Not
Yeah.
for God. God could very simply make an. This is going to sound weird, so please no one clip this out of context. Because again, there's not really a clear way to speak about this. Because again, we are being speculative, but that would assume that God just couldn't make a new creation in the sense that Rolo is restored and his soul is within that. Because animals have a soul; they don't have a soul like ours, but they
Right.
have a soul.
And
But
they didn't actually sin in the way that humanity sinned and brought sin into the world.
which is why, although this does sound like a very niche and very side topic, you will find especially in church history, you will find a lot of people talking about, they don't use the term pets and stuff, but they will talk about, animals being in the new heavens and the new earth, and the implication being that, if someone is emotionally attached to an animal and it brings them joy, all that sort of thing. Because ultimately, you have to ask, in the beginning, why did God create animals for Adam? First of all, it was so Adam could exercise dominion. Part of that dominion was by identifying the animal and naming the animal. The other part of it is, you could say that it was also partly for joy. You could say that the animals were supposed to bring joy, they were to be in the garden with Adam, but ultimately, Adam needed a helper suitable for him, which was Eve. Now, whenever it comes back onto the whole animal thing, I would personally stay away, and again, this is not dogmatic, but I would personally stay away from the term resurrection because resurrection is tied to humans. I would simply say it is more than possible that God could completely restore animals and them still be their own unique little personalities. Because again, we might not have the best words to articulate this, but anyone that has gotten attached to a pet will all swear hands down that their particular pet had a very unique personality and it was unlike others. And I would say there's elements of truth to that because, like, Rolo has got certain things that he does that is very unique to him that other dogs
So
don't do.
here's the tricky thing about this. And
Mhm.
again, I'm just trying to think it through. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the reason we talk about a resurrection is because we actually have a soul, a spirit that continues to exist after we physically die. We don't like cease to exist. What about pets though? And this is where it's really weird because
Read this.
yeah, but with a pet, like I'm not sure that a pet has a soul that carries on. And so then what does that entail if God is bringing back a pet? Because that would mean he's bringing back a soul that had ceased at some point. That's a really weird thing to think about.
So, so you believe that souls cease to exist at
Well,
death?
that's what I'm kind of just, I don't know, like I'm talking about
Well, we.
animal souls.
Oh,
Animal
okay,
souls.
right. So,
Because let's
so,
say
so
they
agreed.
continue
They
to
are.
exist. Are
Yeah.
you
So,
saying they do?
oh well, a soul. So, look, here's where we need to be careful, and I know you're in agreement with us. I'm just saying for the audience sake, an animal soul is not in any way comparable to a human soul. Partly because the human bears the image of God, including rationality, all those types of things, right?
Hmm.
But scripture is clear that animals do indeed possess a soul. A soul is immaterial. But like when an animal dies, the same way when a human dies, death does not mean cessation. It just means the separation of body and spirit. Same
Hmm.
way for an animal. If you've ever watched, unfortunately, I had to put my childhood dog down. Very traumatic at the age I was at, right? Very weird because it was also my first brush with death as well. I could quite literally, you know, the phrase people say whenever they see someone die, it's like the light went out of their eyes. That is
Hmm.
quite literally what that looked like. It was very
Hmm.
surreal, especially at that young age.
Hmm.
That is the soul leaving the body. Even for an animal, that soul does not cease to exist. It goes to its maker, the one that gave it the soul. I don't think God, because this, and now this is my opinion, this would be arbitrary in my position that God made animals with unique personalities, or the wrong word, but like they have little quirks that are unique to them.
Hmm.
I think it would be, and if I'm wrong, Lord forgive me, because I'm not saying this in a dogmatic sense, but
There we go with dogmatic again.
exactly. I want to keep getting the dogs into the kingdom. Plus, it says preach on to every creature. Tim, come on.
That's true. Preach the
That's
gospel to every creature.
that's the
I
old
got to go talk to
Baptist in me
Sherlock
coming out.
after this.
Exactly. You need to give the gospel to him. But that's my point. From my opinion, I don't know. I just don't think it would be consistent with God's nature that for animals that when they die their soul ceases to exist. I think it's the same as us, that there's a separation of body and soul, and I think, yeah, the soul returns on to its maker. But what God does with that soul, I don't know. That's why I said
Yeah,
speculatively,
because with humans, it's much more concrete. Like we know that
because
there's
that's
a
what the Bible's word of.
destination that's given for those souls. It's just hard to think through because earlier you said you don't think they're all going to come back. What? So I'm just I know you don't have an answer, but it brings up these questions that
No,
we're never going to have. But
that's why it's a
it is
fun
pretty
topic.
complicated. It's not just a matter of, oh, okay, this animal, it's here again. It's like, well, if it's actually that animal, something has to happen with the soul, and then the soul has to be reunited with a new body. It's just, yeah, not something I've ever really gotten into myself.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have, but it's something that I have addressed quite a few times, because it's a question I do get a lot. Because a lot of people do get very attached to their animals, and I,
Oh.
I, I understand that. Like, I'm very attached to Rolo, but ultimately, when he, Lord willing, he has many more years ahead of him. But when he dies, I will be heartbroken for a couple of days. I know I will.
Mm.
But even if I get to glory and Rolo's not there, I don't lose anything. However, knowing my God's nature, if I get the glory and Rolo's there, it's an extra bonus, right? But what I would ultimately say is this: whenever it comes on to the, because like you said earlier, whenever I said I don't think all animals will be there, they may well be. All I mean is a wild animal who, no human has ever got to know them, so to speak, or like has any like attachment to them. You're probably not going to recognize that if that was the same animal that died here on Earth. Do you know what I mean? As where if it's your pet, I think it would be something you would instantly recognize in them, because like
So
people
cute.
people people ask this question all the time too, because like sometimes I think they have a wrong understanding. A lot of people think that heaven's the final destination. It's not. Because one of the most common questions I get in email all the time is, because they think of us being, these disembodied spirits. It's like, how will we recognize each other in heaven? Because we don't have bodies. Well, in that case, and I'm not speaking again like this is authoritative, I'm just saying, I think your soul will recognize whatever other soul that you need to recognize, right? But saying that you're a disembodied spirit doesn't mean, your spirit could physically look like you. You just won't be physical. Like, that's also a possibility. So,
Mm.
but again,
Well, one of the
with the
things that
animal,
is going to
I
be
think it's
really
cool.
confusing is that there are a lot of people who were born in the mid 1900s who are going to think that when they get to heaven, uh, whatever that situation is like, and you're trying to recognize people there, I'm convinced that they're going to go up to Charlton Heston and think he's Moses.
I don't know. I think we'll have knowledge of those things.
Okay,
Yeah,
hopefully.
I think so.
Maybe
Again,
name
just
tags.
for the audience act, like a lot of this, all of it pretty much is speculation, but I have no embarrassment whatsoever to honestly say that I genuinely do think our pets will be with us in glory. But again, speculative on my side, but it's a hope that I have.
It's not an essential doctrine.
Oh
Like
no, would
as
would
we
would
said earlier,
wouldn't
we're not going to
yeah,
divide over this one.
wouldn't even be close. Like I wouldn't
Not
even.
even close.
I don't know if I would even put this in tertiary. I would just say that this is something that I hold to. People are free to disagree. People are free to mock it. Um, Not that anyone here is doing that. I'm just saying I know there would be people that would mock that and be like, "Oh, it's just a pet or whatever." But like, maybe just a pet to you, but some people get very attached to their animals. Like a lot of people don't know my last couple of years. Like Tim, you know what it is, and a couple of people in the audience know it as well. But honestly, outside of the Lord, if it wasn't for that dog, which a lot of people would say, oh, it's just a pet, just a dumb animal, if it wasn't for him, I do not know where I would be. And I don't mean that
Mm,
in a dramatic, like, oh,
mm-hmm,
unaliving or whatever. I mean in the
mm,
sense, like, I just mentally, I just don't know where I
mm,
would have been. He
mm-hmm,
brought great comfort.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it shows you that God uses His creation to bring grace into our lives, no
100%.
doubt.
That's why
And then
sorry.
Orthodox Philip, sorry, I'm getting my names confused. Said there is a good dog in the book of Tobit. He's featured in some icons. You know, that's going to start to convince Layman to adopt the Deuterocanon into his Bible.
Well, the funny thing is, I was actually about to ask a question. I read Tobit quite a few times. I don't remember there being a dog. Where's the dog, Philip?
Yeah, maybe he can give us the reference. Maybe it's in the Septuagint. We're waiting for that Bible to come out.
Yeah,
That's the one he's going to talk to us
yeah.
about. And it
No, by
says
the way,
there
I fully trust Philip with that. I just cannot remember
there's
there
a
being a
fish
dog.
in Tobit too, is what Tony says. And then they were talking about
Is that not fish scales rather than a
oh yeah,
fish?
maybe.
Yeah.
Seeley said there may be hope for my childhood goldfish Hershey.
Hmm.
She said she made a bed for him and took him out of his tank.
Oh dear.
And then Philip affirmed, yes, there's hope for
There's hope.
Hershey.
There's hope. Yep.
Aw. People talking about their pets is so sweet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this is again, no one will be
Is
bereft of
this for
anything.
real? He said you may have read the Vulgate version. There's a
Okay.
dog variant.
Wait. Well, that makes sense because I was going to say like,
I was right. The Septuagint, right?
well, no, not if he's stating the Vulgate.
No, he said you may have read the Vulgate.
No, you may have to read.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I get
because
it.
yeah,
So
because
it's
it
actually the opposite. Yeah. I
yeah
thought I thought he said you may have read,
yeah.
but he's saying you may have to read.
Hmm.
Oh, it's for real. That's
Well, you see that
hilarious.
that makes sense because I was going to say it's not that I have the book of Tobit memorized, but I was like I genuinely don't remember there being a dog in Tobit. But I'll check that out. Oh, he's
Yeah,
going to get the
check the
reference anyway
Latin
as
for it.
well.
You got to
So,
check the Latin.
hmm. But yeah, Kari there as well. I would love to see my boys
Yeah,
again.
You're right, Tony. But I was talking about I think versus the Vulgate. There is the Latin.
Hmm.
Uh, but you're right. There wouldn't be a Masoretic. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Philip as well says he's a 96-pound black German Shepherd. He's his boy, and he'll be devastated. Yeah, if I get you, Philip, like honestly, I know I will be gutted when Rolo goes, but I also know, jiggers, that wasn't me getting emotional. I actually did just joke. I know though, but I will be devastated for a couple of days. But like, it eventually leaves you because like we don't hold pets as close as we value human life. Do you know what I mean? Like you lose someone like a mother or whatever, you grieve for far longer. With pets, it kind of gets over a little bit quicker. But oh, hands down, I will. Lord willing, he's many more years because I will not be on the internet at all the week that he goes because I'll be a mess.
Yeah. That's gonna be rough. What's his age right now?
He's 5, and Rottweilers normally only get to about 8 or 10. So he's had half of his life, but it is my hope and my prayer that the Lord makes him live till he's like 15, because it's not out of the realm of possibility. I
Yeah.
know some Rottweilers have hit those numbers. It's just not common.
You know, we have chickens. That's one of the animals we have in our household. And there was one of our chickens named Heaven who got attacked by an opossum. And you're laughing, but this was
Yep.
at the time it was pretty it was perilous. She actually had a very bad gash, and
Mm.
my one of my daughters actually put like ointment on it and helped nurse this chicken back to health, and it is a very long living chicken now. So loving your pets can really cause them to live quite a long time
Oh
actually.
yeah, yeah, it's true. Yep. Leslie says, I miss my Kenzie dog these 4 years now, and
Oh
my Petey
boy.
dog and Ben dog and Robin, all of them. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, Leslie. Like, God made us to be
Mhm.
stewards of our animals. And
Mhm.
when you steward well, you do develop connections with them. It's not the same as a human connection, obviously, but you do make genuine connections. And again, that's why I think it's just consistent with God's nature that I wouldn't be surprised that if in glory you are, you know, reunited with a beloved pet. And I highlight, just for my own opinion, the term beloved. I don't think it'll just be every pet you've ever had. I could be wrong, but
You have to love it enough for it to be in heaven with you.
yes.
Oh. That pet's probably really trying to earn your love if it knew.
Most pets don't have to earn your
They
love.
don't.
They
I know
just
that.
get it.
I know. And then Celie said she misses her cat Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet black long haired cat.
Long
That's
hair too.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then we've got the Dewey Rhymes quoted here. Then the dog, which had been with them in the way, ran before and coming as if he had brought the news, shewed his joy by fawning and wagging his tail.
Based.
Now, why is it in the Latin, not in the Greek? What is that about?
I don't know. Well, he did say it was a variant, but that's pretty
Was
cool
the
actually.
Western Church more favorable to dogs?
I
We're
don't
gonna
know,
have
because Philip also
when we
says
have
that
the
there's
Catholic and
icons of it.
Orthodox on. We're gonna raise this question.
Hmm.
Well, then again, yeah, you said they have an icon for the dog. Yeah,
Well, Roman Catholics have icons too, but I assumed he
yeah,
was talking about Orthodox icons.
I would think so because that's who usually has the icons.
Hmm.
That right?
Well, as I say, Roman Catholics also do have icons.
Hmm, that's true.
There's just a very
Yeah,
different style. Like an Orthodox icon is very
it's
unique style.
specific. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
specific. All right, and then Joel asked, "Do you think dragons once existed?" It sounds like there was one described in Job 41 in the apocryphal edition of Daniel.
Hmm.
Uh, will any dragons be restored?
Sure.
Okay, if they were loved,
Yeah.
if it was a beloved dragon.
Well, it's not just beloved. I honestly, that's why I say I'm speaking more specifically pets.
I
But
understand.
oh, no,
I
no, I know you
understand.
do, but I'm just clarifying just for people that might be confused too, because
Mm.
I think no matter what animal existed, I think you will see it in heaven. There will be no animal that was created here on earth that won't be in glory. So it's not like something's truly gone extinct. So, for example, you know the way people talk about the dodo or whatever, and it's extinct now. Well, if dodos existed, I think you'll see them in glory. So,
Maybe every animal that was on the ark, because Noah had to care for all those animals, so like
mhm.
all of them might have been like in a special class because of Noah. You know what I mean? Like he was taking care of them and protected them in a way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
maybe we'll see all the ark animals.
Yeah. But
Uh,
we never really actually addressed his
uh,
question. Do you
okay,
think
we'll get back
dragons
to it.
once existed, Tim?
Well, you addressed it. I have. I'm
I haven't.
very.
I only give an uh-huh. I didn't actually address it.
Oh, I considered that an
Oh, no, no,
affirmation.
no.
That
I
was your
hadn't
answer.
actually addressed it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, do you have opinion before I give one, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, dragons existed. I also hold the belief that dragons still exist, but I'm not going to tell you what I mean by that.
Not ever, or just not right now.
Just not right now. Build a little mystery.
Wow. Okay. Stay tuned.
Not all dragons are dragons. Let me say that. But do I believe dragons existed? Yeah, of course. Like the term dinosaur is more of a modern term, but yeah, it would have just been a big great lizard, which we call dragons. Like a serpent is also called a dragon.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I tend to think that ancient people saw things we don't see because we know that there were animals we don't have. So there is that to consider. But dragons, in the sense of, was there an animal that had like this specific look of a dragon that breathes fire and has wings?
That's Hollywood type of dragon.
Yeah. Well, but aren't there drawings like that from the past?
Sure.
So
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Just because people
but
came
they
up with that,
but
I
not
don't know if
drawings where
that's
they
true.
were breathing fire. Like that's a much later thing. But dragons that were great big lizards, sure. There's plenty of drawings of those.
Yeah, but I'm at, well, I don't know. The fire thing I think is pretty ancient. And remember in the Bible there is something about Leviathan breathing fire. So
There is, but I don't take that to be like a literal dinosaur or anything. I have a different
I'm just saying
interpretation.
though
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
could reflect some ancient
Also, this
beliefs.
is this is not a plug. I don't want to derail. This is Malcolm White's book, Galahad and the Grail. We're hopefully going to have Malcolm on the channel. I'm not going to say soon because he is quite busy at the moment, but down the line he is said that he would be down for it, right? But Malcolm White does a lot of work to what he calls, well, actually, let me take that back because I haven't even said it yet. He doesn't like the term that we need to be re enchanted with the world. He thinks we need to discover enchantment all over again. He thinks we have lost our wonder of the world, and I fully agree with him. So I did a post on this recently. I absolutely love this, by the way. When we look up at the sky now, and here's the sad thing, we don't often even look up at the sky much anymore, and that was part of my post. But when we look up at the sky now, we have such a understanding of it. And by the way, it's not wrong. That's not why I'm air quoting it. I'm just saying we have such a intellectualized view now of the stars that they're burning balls of gas, that the planets are orbiting and all that sort of stuff. That sometimes we have lost our wonder of what is actually up there. The ancients used to refer to the sky, and check this out, this is beautiful. They used to call it the floor of heaven. Think about that, the floor of heaven. And they used to think that things were actually happening in the stars. Now, scientifically, is that what's actually happening? No. But that sense of wonder where you look at creation and you're like, wow, there's something amazing going on up there. I think in a lot of our modern Western minds, we have lost our sense of wonder of God's creation. Like, think how many places where you walk and you're. Here's a great example. Whenever you go away on holiday, you get to a new country, you love it, you see all the locations all around you, you are enamored with it, and you think it's beautiful. Guess what happens when you come back home? You kind of start to get re enamored with your own country because you start to see familiar sights and sounds, and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. It's been a while since I've traveled, but the last time I was away, I was over in Romania, and beautiful country, love Romania. But do you know what brought great joy to my flight when I was in there? Just seeing the Emerald Isle and seeing how lush and green it was. And it made me realize how much I take my own country for granted. Why? Because I see it every single day. Sorry, I went off on a massive tangent, but I just think we honestly do need to recapture our sense of enchantment and wonder in the world.
Mm, yep. And then they've been talking about the Loch Ness monster a little bit. Joel
Hmm.
said it looks like a plesiosaur. Have you seen the Loch Ness monster?
No, nor do I think that thing exists.
What are you saying?
I honestly believe that my disbelief of the Loch Ness monster is not because I don't think things like that can or could exist. I honestly just think that the loch in particular has been searched so thoroughly with deep scans and all that sort of stuff There's nothing in there. Like, there truly is nothing in there. Anytime people reportedly see stuff, it's filmed on a potato, like it really is.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Kind of reminds me of UFO pictures. I don't know if we want to talk about that at all.
Sure, we still have plenty of time, yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
do
you
have
might
some
want to
time
get through
here.
some of these comments first, but oh no,
I don't
sorry,
know if we're going to
they're
be able to
talking to each
cover
other.
every single one. Are there any you think I should highlight?
No, I just saw a few more come in, but I realized they're all kind of talking to each
Yeah, I
other.
think they're talking to each
Well,
other. Yeah.
Sam says, "Where's my sense of wonder?" My sense of wonder is everywhere, but it does not mean that I think things shot on a potato are real. Some dude says, "Have you seen Bigfoot?" I have not. I have not. Have you?
Well, Bigfoot's not in Ireland. He's over
You
here.
don't know that. We might have an Irish Bigfoot.
I haven't even seen pictures of Irish Bigfoot.
That doesn't
Whereas
mean.
I've seen pictures of American Bigfoot.
Hey, it doesn't mean Irish Bigfoot doesn't exist. He might just be really good at hiding.
He's really good at hiding.
Yeah.
Better even than the American Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
And he's pretty good at hiding.
He might not. The Irish one might not even be Bigfoot. He might be Littlefoot.
That's true.
That's why he hides so well.
The little hobbit like Bigfoot.
Well, that's the thing. That's why the Irish history is so unique. Like Malcolm in his book draws upon a lot of Irish and Scottish history as well, because we in our history have things like fairies and naiads and dryads, and that comes from our culture where we used to have druids. So there is a lot of stuff in our culture where you could look at it and outright just say, "Oh, that's pagan," or you could understand kind of what we talked about off camera time. There are spiritual things that we don't always see.
Right, right.
So,
Yep. And yeah, we could definitely talk more about that.
mhm.
Seeley said Bigfoot is in my neck of the woods. Have you seen Bigfoot, Seeley? That's what I want to know. Actually, so a couple of things that kind of I need to say right now. Next week, I'm going to be officiating a wedding on Wednesday.
With
So
Bigfoot.
not with Bigfoot,
Oh,
but with
right.
someone from the Northwest. My soon to be daughter-in-law is from Oregon,
Woo, nice.
and I'm going to be officiating the wedding for my son and his fiance, and that is next Wednesday. Therefore, everybody, I will not be here for Wednesday next week. We'll take a week off because
Hmm.
I'll be busy officiating the wedding and participating.
But I now have a follow-up question.
Uh oh.
How big are your son's feet?
Yeah, she's marrying Bigfoot.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be honest, yes, because she's from the Northwest, so they're kind of drawn to
Yeah.
Bigfoot there.
Yep.
Big, yeah. No, he does have some. He's obviously too tall for a hobbit, but he's got a little bit of he's got very curly hair.
Oh, okay.
He could have passed for a hobbit, I think actually.
Okay.
Okay, so
Shall we segue then into our
yeah.
unseen
The,
things?
Yeah, and my question is, do you want me to show the first thing you sent me with this person?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and play that.
Okay, we'll play that video.
I had a friend that sent me a text message.
Oh, by the way, who is this?
Well, before you do that, it's I think it is Perry Stone actually. That guy. It's on
Okay,
the. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but Tim, if you click the expand button on the video, it'll bring it up full screen for people.
okay,
There we go.
all right. So Perry Stone, and who's that?
Now he's a charismatic.
Okay,
Not even,
that's
and I'm not downplaying charismatic.
right.
What I'm trying to say is
Like hyper charismatic
he's
kind of a.
charismaniac, is what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would say.
gotcha.
Now, just for people know that we're talking about here, this is a big topic on X at the moment. It's not just coming from him. There was a group of pastors, and this has actually been verified, and this is probably going to offend some people, but I don't really care. Pastors, there was a group of pastors that were called to have a meeting with some White House officials, and they were basically briefed to say you need to tell your people, meaning the Christians, that we are about to release some UFO information that is going to change the way that you understand your Bible. So, of course, X is debating this left, right, and center, so I thought it would be a good topic to talk about. So that's the context of this video.
Message. I was in a meeting, a weekend meeting, preaching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And he said, Perry, can you give me a call? I have some information that has come to my attention.
Who was this that told him that? Do you know?
I don't know who the guy is talking about here, but the overall context is that a group of these pastors were all taken to meet White House officials. They don't say who the White House officials are, but they met White House officials. Trump, to be fair, has put out a statement on
Was it
Truth
Paula
Social.
White?
Probably. Trump has put out a statement on Truth Social to say that there is an announcement apparently about UFOs on the way. So
Okay.
Of course, when a friend of yours does that you know quite well, you have no idea what information they're talking about. And I'm not going to go into great detail,
surprise.
but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures, and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book.
So this is not the only video on X, by the way. There is multiple of these pastors that have came out and said the same thing as him. But then, Tim, I also sent you another video if you want to play that one.
We have to watch more. Okay.
Well, this one's supposedly a retraction, but we'll see.
Okay, we'll see what this says. All right, retraction. But this is a different. Is this another pastor?
Yeah.
Okay. Here
So
we go.
before you play that, you can read that.
Oh, yes.
Pastor who attended, in air quotes, the UFO Discord meeting walks back his statement saying they were his own opinions on aliens and not what Representative Eric Burlinson, I think that's
Burleson.
actually said.
Okay.
So there's one of the officials named there, actually. So.
Yep.
I want to address this video that's going around of me in regards to the meeting of pastors that gathered to discuss the upcoming so-called UFO disclosure. And in this video, I stated that a congressman from Missouri had called in to speak to the pastors. And of course, it's being revealed now that that is Congressman Eric Burleson. And he did call in, but he called in to encourage us and to thank us pastors for the work that we're doing, and that we are speaking the truth to our people and pointing them to Jesus and not get distracted of things in the world. And in that moment, I began
But what about things out of this world?
to state things that I have always said. That is my opinion, and my opinion is, and that's exactly all it is my opinion, that when this disclosure comes out, that it will be spun, that it is that the aliens have always been here, that they seeded us, that they created the first religion, and all of that. I should have stopped and paused and said, and this part is my opinion. In the heat of that, I didn't. I led with saying that he had called the pastors, and I went straight into my opinion. So I want to make it very clear that Eric Burleson did not say those words. Those were my words. And I want to own it, and I want to apologize directly to Congressman Eric Burleson for any problems that this has caused you, any confusion, and to any of the viewers that have seen this video clip. So I wanted to state the facts and make it very, very clear what actually.
Oops. So he didn't actually walk back that there was an announcement about aliens.
No, this announcement has been confirmed by Trump himself. There is an announcement coming out about, and again, aliens.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into that in a moment.
And he
This
didn't really walk
announcement
back anything. He's just clarifying that wasn't.
He's
what's
clarifying
happening.
that his opinion that because what he thinks is going to happen, and by the way, I would agree with him because we don't even know what this statement is, but apparently this statement is good because this is what was put out by Trump. It's going to be worldview changing for the Bible. So we all know what this is going to be, aka probably something along the lines of there's no God, aliens were the first to, come and, as he said, seed the earth. If you've ever seen the movie Prometheus, that's the very same thing that happens in that. An alien lands on Earth, he kind of like dissolves and his body falls into the waterfall, and that's how life begins on Earth and all that sort of stuff. So, look, we don't know what this statement's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as grandiose as that. It's probably just going to come out and say, look, we've found alien crafts or whatever it is. It's really been blown up out of proportion, but the idea that they have released this to, and again, pastors, because there was no serious pastor invited. It was all these like kind of sort of like charismaniac dudes.
Yep. So we do have some comments. One was Tony was saying, hasn't Perry Stone also taught that the Cherokee are the lost one of the lost tribes of Israel?
Probably Tony's got really cookie teachings. I don't really keep abreast of what he says. But
isn't there a whole religion that's based on that kind of idea?
Well, some of their black Hebrew Israelites think that they're, the lost tribe of Israel.
There's also another testament that I've heard about that somehow ties into, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah. The lovely Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a bad time to leave you, Tim, but the water has kicked in. I will be back very briefly. I will be back very briefly.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, we should have known. He's drinking I think he said it was 5. I don't think it's 5 gallons. When he gets back, he can clarify if it was 5 gallons. It was a really big water jug, whatever size it was. Yeah, and then Joel is clarifying here that Mormons believe Native Americans are descended from one of the tribes of Israel. That's what, it was somewhat popular in the 1800s. Yep. And that is, Mormonism is just based on kind of lore that Joseph Smith came up with that ties into, some of those speculative ideas. It's so weird, so interesting, though, how Mormonism developed. And I'm sure that's a topic that Layman and I are going to talk about more sometime, is getting into some of the details of Mormon teaching and Mormon history. Yes, it might have been 5 liters that he had. When he gets back here, Layman will tell us exactly how many gallons or liters of water he just drank. But we knew this was coming. Now I've been drinking the Iron Man brew this whole time, and I've been drinking it very, very slowly because I didn't want to have to leave abruptly. But I probably still have half left. Okay, we got him back. Here we go.
Hello.
How many gallons was that jug that you
gallons?
Had?
Liters, man. Gallons. Liters.
Yeah, you're right, Seeley.
If that was 5 gallons, I could pick it up, but I wouldn't be picking it up the way I did this.
I knew that. That's why as soon as I said it, I'm like, no, it can't be gallons.
Oh, dear.
I've carried 5 gallons. So we have, you know how we have maple syrup here? Well, my father-in-law, he actually taps maple trees to get the syrup. And we get the sap from the trees, and we use smaller buckets on the trees, and we pour them into 5-gallon buckets. And the 5-gallon buckets are very heavy, for sure. So
yeah. Now, aliens.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we just to kind of wrap that up, I was talking about Mormonism, and Joel's. I think you've mentioned this to me, Joel. Some of his relatives or some of his ancestors are early Mormons. in Missouri.
Okay.
So Joel is someone that, when we do talk about Mormonism, it'd be really interesting to get some of his information and perspective that he has. That's really cool. And then Leslie thinks there's no such thing as extraterrestrials. Jesus came as a human to save humans. Nothing else. Likely what people think they see is in their imaginations and or demonic activity because they're open to it. Now, I told Layman before we went live why I don't think we're seeing physical aliens that are just like lizard people that have bodies like ours. I think if this is any kind of a being, it would have to be a being that goes beyond what we're physically, what our current understanding of physical bodies is.
Yeah.
Because I think the distances in space and physics preclude travel. Like if you actually see these distances, aliens just couldn't get here. I think God has purposely closed us off from the rest of the universe in order to show our finitude, our limitations, and to show his eternality. But I know Layman said that
It's
that
not
doesn't
my
mean.
yeah, it's not my view, by the way. That's the other opinion.
What I was going to say though, like that Layman told me, and he'll talk about it more if he wants to, but that in the new, in the renewed creation, the new heavens, the new earth,
Right. Okay.
we can explore, like he believes we'll be able to explore more, and I have no problem with that. Like I think that would be awesome if God chooses to allow that, and we may have our pets with us to do that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, in my website, you can find Rollo in an astronaut costume, so why not?
You're just like foreshadowing what
Oh,
it's going to be
I'm
like.
already there, Tim. But no, this again is one of those niche sounding things, but it's something theologians and philosophers have been exploring for, quite a while. It's the idea of like our like never mind just our universe, like our galaxy, everything, like it's so huge. God could have created that purely for his own glory, 100%, right? Which I believe he did ultimately.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is for the majority of it, which we will never see, it makes no sense in my mind then, because how do we glorify God in something that we will ultimately never see? Now, I said this earlier to Tim too, and I'm going to make this clear here as well. Unless it was for the angels to enjoy, to see all these planets and galaxies, and that's another reason. But I ultimately think one day we will get to be a part of seeing the entirety of the universe as,
But we're not going to become gods that have our own planets, right?
No. No.
This is more and more making me think we've got to talk about Mormonism.
Yeah, we will.
And by the way,
And-
just
and it-
just if anybody happened to watch this who's Mormon, I don't mean to sound condescending. Maybe I do sound condescending. I don't think these teachings are scriptural, and I take it very seriously. Like I think if something is against scripture, I take it seriously. That doesn't mean I don't love Mormons, because I do. I care about people regardless of what they've been taught, what their religion is. But I do think there's a push in Mormonism to try to say we're Christians just like other Christians. And there was a time when they didn't say that. There was a time when they said, no, we're not like other Christians. We're the real ones. And
Well,
now they've really downplayed or even backtracked on that. And that's what I have a hard time with, that they're trying to say they have a very similar theology as us in the rest of Christian teaching, and it's not true. They have a very, very different theology, and I think it's something we need to address sometime.
Yeah, well, I was just going to add in, historically, they never used the term Christian. They disliked that term. That's why they had Mormon and LDS.
It's the
The
Church
reason-
of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints.
Which is why they now distance from that, though, but because, again, I've effectively been blacklisted by the town adjacent to me in speaking to their
wow.
Mormon missionaries, because like they
Yeah.
won't speak to me. But ultimately, the reason why you have a push for modern Mormons using the term "we are Christians too" is they know from history, archaeology, that their claims don't hold up. So what they now do is they co-opt the actual Christian archaeology and Christian history, but they tweak it a little bit because
Yeah.
obviously they don't agree to the creeds. But interestingly, modern Mormons, some of them that I've spoke to, would be like, yeah, I'm okay with what the creed says, but I don't hold to it because they're co-opting it. But the problem with that now is, and this is not to move on to a Mormon stream, I'm just saying this very briefly, they are not Christian in any way, shape, or form. But what they will appeal to is a fallacy where they'll say, well, a Christian just means someone that follows Jesus, and we follow Jesus. Yeah, but Christ warned of false Christs.
Mhm.
That means that if you follow a false Christ, you're not following the true Christ. If you're not following the true Christ, you are not a follower of Christ.
Mm.
So it matters who your Jesus is. The Mormon Jesus is not the Christian Jesus.
And we'd have to take a lot of time to really flesh that out, but we can do that sometime. I will say too,
No.
you mentioned being blacklisted. It made me. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but years ago, I was in my town here where I live, and I got into a really deep, long discussion with a couple of Mormon missionaries, and we talked for a long time, and I shared scripture with them and told them what I believe, shared the gospel, and they heard an earful from me. I mean, I try to listen, but they heard a lot from me, and they kind of knew they weren't going to get anywhere, and so we parted ways eventually. And I think it was maybe a couple weeks later. I was not at home, and some Mormon missionaries came to my house while I was away. They showed up, and my wife answered the door, and she said, "Oh, my husband's not here, but when he comes, you should talk to him." And so they came back when they knew that I was going to be home, and as soon as I opened the door, their jaws dropped. They're like, "It's you!"
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they were not expecting that, but I continued my conversation with them even after they thought they had escaped.
And let me be clear here: the young Mormon missionaries are people that need to be loved
That's right.
because, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of conversations with them, and I've even had some young Mormon missionaries admit to me that they know Joseph Smith fails the test of a prophet. They know he is a false prophet. However, they say we can't leave Mormonism because if we do, we get cut off from our families. That's the operation of a cult. That's why I say you have to love the young Mormon missionaries. But the
Yeah.
reason why, and this is more old school, used to be when you were talking to Mormon missionaries, one of them would do the talking, the other one had a little black book, and he was making notes of things that you would say. And if you said anything that challenged Mormon doctrine, they bring that back to their handler. They call him like a bishop and stuff. He's not a bishop, but anyway, their handler that looks after the missionaries, he reviews that with them, and if he deems you as being a threat to their mission, he tells you you're not allowed to speak to them anymore. Sorry, he tells them you're not allowed to speak. So that's
Yep.
how I found out that I was blacklisted, because
Yep.
when I encountered a new set of Mormon missionaries, got talking to them, shared my name and stuff, but 5-10 minutes later, it was, oh yeah, we can't really talk to you.
Yep. Yep. And Orthodox Philip said, I've tried to have a discussion with some Mormon missionaries. When I brought up Arius, they said, "Who?" And I knew the discussion wasn't going to be good.
Yep. Also, it would be good to maybe bring Philip up for that conversation, because in the Eastern Orthodox view, they teach theosis, right? Which means you
Yeah.
become a partaker in God's energies.
My idea, and this is just off the cuff, but my idea, if we're gonna do a stream on Mormonism, is maybe we could kind of line up multiple guests, and even have a Mormon come on for part of it,
Yeah,
so that we can engage with him and
Sure.
and hear from his own viewpoint.
perfect.
As we've been talking about, we don't want to straw man people. We want them to tell what they actually believe.
Exactly, but that's why I say also bring up Philip, because here's what Mormons do. They twist the Eastern Orthodox doctrine of theosis into saying, well, see, the Eastern Orthodox believe we can become a god. The
Yeah. So
Eastern Orthodox don't believe.
after we have the Mormon on, we can bring on some other people in
Sure.
follow up
Yeah.
and kind of address different topics that have been brought up.
Yep.
Yep.
But anyway, before we turn into a 3 hour stream, let's get back to the alien conversation, then we can wrap up.
Yeah, because your bladder's not going to last another.
Oh no, I'm good now. I've been.
I know, but if we don't get back to our topic, yeah, I don't really have much else to say. But what were you going to say about it?
Well, just in general, like you can tell that this is like a little bit of I don't know if psyop's the right word, but the fact that this was released out into, pastors, and then they told people that, oh, there's going to be a worldview change in, Bible, because that was the actual term, not in the post I sent you. But if you go on X and check some of those other posts, you'd some of these pastors saying that we're going to have to explain something now that changes our view of the Bible. So we all know what the announcement's going to be. It's going to be that they've found spacecrafts and, are aliens really gods? Did the aliens create us? All that sort of stuff. So we all know what that's going to be the next challenge. That's something that Christians have actually been warning about for a very long time, because this alien conversation is not new, but it is constantly progressing towards a stage where they're eventually, and when I say they, you can read into that whatever you want, government. Anyway, they are going to eventually reveal some type of like alien body or alien ship or whatever, and it's going to be, yeah, we're not alone in the universe, and who knows, maybe the aliens created us, or it's going to be some drama like that. And we all know that the moment the Reddit tier atheists get a hold of it, it'll be like, see, this proves the Christian God's not true.
Yeah. It's so funny, actually, how humans can be more open. Like I said, there are major. No, that's actually an understatement. There are insurmountable obstacles to a physical alien actually being able to reach us, which, it's a whole thing you'd have to study and get into. But my point is, people can believe that. They can believe in Star Trek, but they can't believe that our unbelievably complex DNA had intelligence behind it. It's like, listen, the easier thing to believe for sure is God. And actually, the Bible tells us we suppress the truth. We suppress the truth in unrighteousness.
Yeah. I just want to recommend again, this is St. Gregory of Nyssa on the soul and the resurrection. And he is dealing with the death of his brother, and he goes to his sister, and he's talking to her, and he's working through, how do we know that there's a soul? How do we know that the soul continues? And one of the things that she points out, and we use this a lot in modern terms as well, we just kind of change the analogy a little bit, but this goes to show you how much this thought was always around. Because again, even in this book, they are talking about things in the sky, like knowing that the sun, that the moon doesn't give its own light, that it reflects the sun. So there goes that whole, anachronistic idea of, the ancients didn't have a clue about space and stuff. They knew a lot more than we give them credit for. But ultimately, what she ultimately points to is, she says, when you see a garment, a woven garment, you know it had a weaver. Right? What's the argument that we use all the time for design? You can look at a building and know that it had an architect. So why would you look at a human and say, "Oh, it didn't have a designer"? So it goes to show you, like, fantastic book. Go check it out, read it. Can't recommend it highly enough. But what I would say is, like, this idea that, what's the best way of putting this? This idea that we can look at phones and stuff and know that, oh, look at the great design that went into that. But somehow we're going to look at the human, like, as you said, Tim, not only our DNA, but like just how our entire body operates and works in unison. We're going to look at that and actually say there was no designer behind it. That takes a lot more faith than a faith in a God. Do you know what I mean? To believe that
Yeah.
we didn't have a designer takes a lot more faith.
Absolutely. I'm going to actually try to pull up here. I think this is right. Because you were mentioning a book and another resource that I've just been hearing about. This is actually a documentary. It's maybe we could watch the trailer actually.
Sure. Just before you do this, just let me address this briefly. This is not my view, but just so, because I said this to Tim off camera as well. Seeley said, if there are aliens, God created them too. I agree with that statement. I don't, when I say I agree with it, I agree with the statement in the conditional of if. Because what I have said is Scripture is not designed to give us an overarching view of the entire universe. Is it in the realm of possibility that God placed other creatures on different worlds? Sure, it's within the realm of possibility, but I don't really believe that. I don't have a reason to believe it other than, yeah, maybe not. But what ultimately I'm going to say is for people that do hold that view, because Tim and I were talking about this off camera, our understanding, though, like Tim said, is maybe they don't have physical bodies the way we have physical bodies. Like, that's a possibility. Doesn't mean it's probable.
But then I would say you're getting into kind of beings that the Bible may not tell us about, but they would be more in that category because we
That's
know
what we
there
said
are
earlier, yeah.
we know there are beings such as cherubim and seraphim and yes, so
Yeah,
these are
that's what we said earlier. That's why I say I just don't want to leave that out there as if I'm saying it's completely impossible. It is technically possible. I just don't think it's probable.
I don't think it's possible that there are aliens like they said in that video.
Oh yeah, not like lizards and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
we're 100%
like I said.
agreed
I
there.
just don't think that's even. But I think people today would be more apt to believe that than they would be to believe in God. Some people. Anyway, so kind of before I show this trailer, this is Dr. Stephen Meyer. Some of you have heard of some of his books, Signature in the Cell, Darwin's Doubt. He has some really good, pretty thorough scientific books that really challenge evolution. But this is Dr. Stephen Meyer. He has a new documentary that's coming out. I think this is called The Theory of Everything. And I just want to quickly speak to what you said earlier about ancient people. We think they didn't know. But if you go to the Creation Museum in Kentucky, if you go there, they talk about how, I think this was BC, before Christ, there were people who, based on what they were observing with shadows, realized that the earth was a globe. That's at the Creation Museum. They talk about this. And yet I've had flat earthers say to me that we only believe in a globe because of recent science. And it's like, no, ancient people knew there was a globe, and you can go to the Creation Museum and hear them talk. Ancient people understood a lot more than you might think.
Yeah, they're not dum-dums. That's what I'm saying. Like, here's now, not to sidetrack, because there's a couple of good comments there as well. Maybe before you play that, this is not to sidetrack too much, but like, I already held to that anyway, that they weren't dum-dums. But this is my second time through this book. But when I tell you that whenever I was reading, about Gregory's sister talking about how she even knew just by like observation and stuff that the moon doesn't actually give off its own life, it reflects the sun. That completely blows out of the water these people that are like, oh, the ancients didn't understand the skies. They did.
Now, by the way, just to clarify here, Joel actually talked about the Creation Evidence Museum in Glen Rose, Texas. I was referring to.
I just saw Creation Museum.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't necessarily know these distinctions because you don't live here. But the Creation Science Museum,
I'm familiar
is
with.
Ken Ham, and it's in Kentucky. And then before I show the trailer, Orthodox Philip said Stephen Meyer's rocks. I was lucky enough to hear him in person and meet him. That's really cool. So with that, let me show this trailer for a new documentary that Stephen Meyer was involved with, Dr. Stephen Meyer. And this is, I think that the movie is called The Story of Everything. Hopefully this is right. I didn't realize we were going to pull this up today, but we'll try this trailer here.
Today, I'm going to tell you a story which may seem very strange to you.
How in the world did this start?
Has the universe always been here, or is it finite?
We want to take our metaphysical hypotheses and see what they point to.
Here is evidence for what can only be described as a supernatural event.
It turned out to be the tip of the iceberg. Without guidance, we would get a life unfriendly universe. We're dealing with a system of manifold, complex design.
We associate information with a rational intelligence behind it.
The universe, it bears everywhere the fingerprints of its creator.
The concept of life as a cosmic phenomenon should have many consequences. The question then was, what does one do about it?
Okay, so
That looks cool.
yeah, I hold on, I gotta. There we go. Wanted to mention that as another thing for people to check into, because I heard him talk about it, and this kind of ties into what we were saying. Like, ancient people knew a lot, but science is interesting because science actually does give us information we didn't know before. That's true. Like, we do know things that people didn't know in the past. That is a piece of the puzzle. But what's interesting is that the more we learn, like I said about DNA, you can read in the Bible that they knew back then the formation of a human in a womb was unbelievable.
Yep.
But now we can understand just how unbelievable it is, because we know it's not just blobs forming. Like the cell in and of itself, just one cell has things in it that are incomprehensibly complex and amazing. And the DNA that we have discovered just tells us so much about this just unbelievable intelligence that goes into making us who we are. And of course the scripture speaks to that, but what the point is that the more we learn, the more in detail we see that. And so I think actually science can, and that's what Stephen Meyer's point is, that science actually, it's becoming harder and harder to say I don't believe in an intelligent designer of everything, because the more we learn about life and the universe, the more we realize there has to be one. So another thing to for people to check into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna say maybe address some of these comments and then we will call it.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Yep. Oh yeah, I've seen that, by the way. Joel said the docu movie No Intelligence Allowed. That was one from the mid 2000s with Ben Stein was in that. That's right, the guy with the real deadpan voice. And then is Meyer the ID guy? Yes. And yep, you've got some of his books. Yeah, like I said, Darwin's Doubt, Signature in the Cell, where he talks about DNA. He has other books too, but those are some of them. And then Philip said, Dr. Stephen Meyer uses DNA and the Cambrian explosion to show that unguided evolution cannot sufficiently explain the creation of life. Yep. And then we've got, I'll pull up Seeley's comment. What's interesting that our mitochondrial DNA comes entirely from our mother.
Well,
Yeah.
pull up some dude's comment as well, because that's true. This is something that's been reported a lot. Whenever people take psychedelics, they really do encounter spiritual beings. Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of stuff around that.
Yep. And I think it shows you, that I personally think that the more science discovers, I think that we tend to elevate like scientists from the 1800s, as because of Darwin and everything, like they really had it all figured out. And the truth is they had a very simplistic understanding. Science has actually showed us that like the human mind, it's just hard to even comprehend. Like, you can't just over simplify. So when we talk about even things like psychedelic drugs, we don't always even understand how that's affecting the spiritual perceptions that we have.
Well, you can't, because this is what I try and tell the atheists all the time. Science is limited because science is the study of the natural world. It doesn't deal with the spiritual world. It can't measure it. Like, Tim, if I give you a tape measure and I said, weigh yourself, could you do it?
A tape measure? No.
No. But is it not true that I give you a tool that measures?
Right.
Yeah, same way that a scale would measure your weight, but I've give you the wrong tool for the job. Science cannot prove God. Science cannot disprove God. Now, there are things in science that absolutely can point towards God, 100%. I think that's why he's given us science, so to speak. But there's errors on both sides. You get Christians that will just out and out say science proves God. No, it points towards God. It evidences God. It doesn't prove him.
No,
but then on the flip side, you get atheists that are like, science disproves God. Really? That's interesting, because science is the study of the natural world. It does not study the supernatural.
And I tend to be a little bit more of the mind that I feel like we differentiate those things too much. You know, like the physical, that's what I'm trying, and I do a bad job. But one of these days, if I communicate it a zillion times, I'm going to get it right. If you get down to the subatomic level, it is hard to even distinguish what you mean by physical. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, there is something almost inherently beyond the natural to our existence. And that's where I almost don't like us talking as if our human bodies are just natural things that can be separated from the spiritual. That's what I think science kind of leads us to do sometimes, is to think in those categories. But that's what I'm trying to say, is the more we learn in science, the more we realize you can't think in those simplistic categories. The physical body is hard to even understand what it is. Like, and I'm talking about on a subatomic level. What does it even mean for something to exist is really difficult for science to truly answer. Even consciousness, like, they can describe it, but they really can't figure out what constitutes it and what it is. And yet we can in some way say it ties into the physical. Yeah, but on what level and in what manner? Like, that's what I'm saying. I think science, I actually think it's a product. It's like a byproduct of this mechanistic thinking of the 17 and 1800s, where everything was thought of as being a machine. And science is realizing bodies are not machines. They're not just physical things. That's my rant.
Yeah, but Orthodox Philip's comment really sums it up well. That's a good argument. Imagine saying Steve Jobs never existed because he's not observable inside your MacBook. Great analogy for trying to observe God within creation and, directly prove him or disprove him.
I think that's true on the level of design, but those analogies tend to reinforce the idea that there's that's what I'm pushing back so strongly against. You can tell. Like, I think I don't like this idea very much that the universe is just this stuff, and then God.
Oh, it's not.
I think that what we are is hard for us to fully even grasp. When you actually look at things on the smallest scales possible, that we're even able to even somewhat fathom. It's just, it's hard to even understand, because, there are virtual particles, there are aspects of our subatomic, I find it to be hard for the human mind to even grasp. And whereas I think we tend to think that atoms are just like these little tiny balls of stuff, and that we're just, we're stuff. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think we're stuff.
We're not just stuff, but we are stuff.
Yeah, I get it. No, it's true. Yeah, but
Because
what
again,
I'm saying
I
is
know
I
it.
don't think you can separate that completely from the spiritual.
Well, I know it sounds like I'm really, really pushing this book,
Yeah,
but
you are.
honestly, I am pushing people to read this because that's actually a question Gregory is wrestling with because he talks about how our physical body breaks back down into, so like heat goes back into heat, the cold, well, cold's a deprivation, but anyway, he talks about how, the solids are, I'm really not doing this justice right now because I'm tired, but like the solids of our body go back to being soil, and like all these parts break down and they go into different elements, so to speak. Like they return to their sort of makeup, if that makes sense. But then he's left wrestling with the question, like that's what this book is on. Well, what happens to the soul? Because the soul doesn't, it's not part of our physical world. It's immaterial. So where does it go? Does it cease to exist? Does it go to God? And that's what that entire book is dealing with. So there, yeah,
Yeah.
Philip's back.
Yeah, and I think to the knowledge that they had, I actually think sometimes ancient people
I
would
think they had a lot more knowledge.
probably. That's what I'm trying to really push on here, and I don't know if probably if I keep saying it, people kind of get what I'm saying. I think that the 1800s, 17 and 1800s, with the mechanistic view of the world, brought in a way of thinking that ancient people didn't hold to. Not in the same way. I'm not saying, always humans have had machines. I'm not saying they didn't understand that. But I'm just saying the way they think about bodies, for example, the way they think about things that are living, for example, or the makeup of stuff. In the 1800s, they started to think in very mechanistic terms, and in terms of like atoms were little balls, almost is kind of the idea. But atoms are not little balls. That's not what they are. Like atoms are unfathomable realities that if you understand like an electron cloud, it's not just like these little things orbiting around. Again, we tend to think they're little balls, and it's like that's not even what it is. So you start to get into like, what even is this, what we call stuff? It's like, it's hard to even fathom what it is the more we look into it. And so what I'm saying is our understanding of it just points us more and more, the more we do understand that we take for granted our knowledge of what we are. We take for granted that we're these what we call physical things. And I think that the human body, everything about it, it is so tied into the spiritual that we have to be very careful that we don't think of a body as being one, just kind of like this thing, and the spiritual being somehow this completely separate thing. Do I understand how that all works? No, I don't. But I do know that the spiritual and the physical are very, very intertwined. I'll put it that way. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the world is a spirit or something like that. I'm not a pantheist or anything like that.
No. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it. I would just be a little bit cautious of saying that our physical, like our material and our immaterial, are so intertwined that you can't tell them apart at all. I know that's not what you're saying, but just in case anyone in the audience thinks that, like there is a difference.
Because there's a materialistic view of the world that I think is inherently wrong. And it's played into why people can be atheists so easily, because they think you can have a world without God. And I'm thinking, no, you can't. If you look at the subatomic realities of our existence, there are things about it that are just they just shout the supernatural nature of all things. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw some dude's comment. Now, I don't know whether he just really wants to go home to be with Jesus or he just really wants this podcast to be over.
Who's this?
Some dude, he just says, "Oh, Jesus, just take me home." Now, as I say, either he just really wants to be with the Lord, which praise the Lord, or he really wants this
Or he's
podcast
speaking to
be over.
something in the conversation we didn't
Could
notice.
be, but I just found it quite funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we don't necessarily know all of these things, but I'm just I may sound like I'm pushing back on people here, but I'm not. I'm pushing back on this idea that today you have materialists, and materialists tell you we're just stuff, and it's like, no, we're not. Like that's overly simplistic. We're not just stuff.
Telling you, Tim, you're starting to sound very like Brian Savay. That's their catchphrase. The world's not just stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I don't mind that.
I know.
Are we going to get into what was the other thing that you? I know we got to go now, but you had something else. No, I'm not saying that.
That's why I added the probably. What other thing? I don't remember bringing something up.
No,
Hey,
this
Tony,
was
welcome.
you had said in message that like a message to me that there was something you had commented on X maybe.
Oh goodness, no, that would
Yeah.
take way too long. Well,
Yeah.
just long story short, I kicked a hornet's nest by pointing out hypocrisy. Now, I am not a guy that defends Joel Webben. I'm also not a Joel Webben hater, but basically the topic of smoking got brought up because he took
Does
a
Soyve
picture.
smoke?
Huh?
Does Soyve smoke?
I think so. I'm not sure. But anyway, basically James White got into it with Joel Webben over a picture apparently looking, cringy. To which James White said that he finds smoking in general cringy. So I just simply pointed out, well, that's interesting because Jeff Durbin, most of the Apologia staff smoke. Doug Wilson smokes, and you've never came out and called them cringy for smoking. So pointed it out that I don't think the comment was so much about smoking as it was more just of a disdain of Joel Webben and the guys. So basically, because I took the middle ground and just I said, I'm getting lower and lower, I need to fix my posture.
Your camera isn't motion activated anymore, so it can't
No,
follow you.
but I was purposely slinking down in, but I'll come back up because it looks really bad on camera. But anyway, my point is, like, this could have been any three, this could have been Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Velma in this picture, and I still would have defended it. Because it's not the defense of the actual guys, it's the defense of, you can't say, I find this type of thing cringy, whenever your own, like, fellow pastors and whatever have done full-on videos where they're smoking cigars. So I posted that, and obviously,
Joel Webben responded with this cat shirt picture of.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is where it's not actually. It's got nothing to do. I said in the later post, it's got nothing to do with smoking. It's got nothing to do with anything else. All it is.
I'm just laughing at all.
Oh no, I
back
know
and
you are,
forth
and it
going
is
on
funny. But what I'm just pointing out is I kicked a hornet's nest by basically saying, because long story short, it's not about Joel Webben and it's not about Dr. White. I just simply pointed out that the smoking was a smokescreen to be, I just find you guys irritating, or, whatever else. But because I took the middle ground, I had people accusing me of being a Joel Webben guy, and then other people accusing me of hating Dr. White. And it's like, can you people not, like, I don't mean to be rude, but, like, is reading comprehension that dead that people cannot read what I'm saying versus what I'm not saying?
Well, I just got said that I'm a pantheist, essentially, right? So
Yeah, but he's joking.
No, I know. I know he was.
But yeah, this could have been a whole topic on its own, and
Yeah.
It'll not matter 2 weeks from now, so we
You're
might
right.
as well just bring it up very briefly. But
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, I just kicked the hornet's nest because, again, remove it away from Joel Webben, because that is the problem. It's who was in the image is what people's main issue was, right? Joel Webben and Calvin Robinson. If that had been anyone else, there wouldn't have been, any other fuss over it. There wouldn't have been nearly as much traction over it because the comment wasn't actually about smoking at all. And this is not Dr. White's original comment. He reposted this. But to say that you find smoking cringy, but yet you don't call your own guys out for it publicly. So Jeff Durbin did a full video where he's smoking a cigar, and when you look through the comment section of that video, about 60% of the audience are saying this is a really good video, but it's very distracting that he's smoking a cigar. Which is exactly what he said was the issue with this. He said that this is performative, that they're standing
Who
there.
said that?
James White, plus
Oh,
others. Others have called it performative. And
Well,
look, I get it.
one thing
It
I
is
will say
performative
about
in a sense.
this that is a little, I don't know what to make of it exactly, but it's the smoking is one aspect of it, but it actually says we are the new Christian right above it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see what I mean? Like that's a little bit like, I don't know how to put it, but
They are branding. I have got no disagreements with that. That's what I'm saying. My issue is nuance doesn't seem to exist on the internet. You can't nuance a position. So whenever I said that Dr. White's comment about, smoking being cringy, right? That's what I was focusing on. Him saying
yeah,
that
I
it was
understand
cringy.
that. Yeah.
No, I know you get it, but I'm just painting the picture of it. But social media, of course, didn't get that because
Yeah.
for them, what it boiled down to was, oh, you're defending Joel Webb and oh, you're attacking Dr. White. And it's like,
Well, I can
where are
say
you not getting
I
that?
can say this and not be hypocritical because I don't smoke and I've never defended Durbin. I think
I'm
whether
gonna
it's
I'm gonna
cringe,
look for a clip now where you defended him.
yeah, maybe. Well, not his smoking. I mean,
No,
you know.
I know.
I don't smoke and I don't, care about it really. But these guys, I think it's it's a subjective thing whether you find what they're
100%.
doing cool.
100%.
My opinion is there probably is a case to say Jeff Durbin comes across more cool than these guys. That's my opinion. No, this is separate from you. Like I'm not.
Oh yeah, no,
like
no,
I
I
said,
know. I'm
I'm not
agreeing
being
with
a hypocrite. I'm just telling, like, what I think. All of this kind of reminds me of is people who are trying to be cool, and I'm just the kind of person who I'm kind of a little bit. I'm kind of wired to just not. I don't really desire to be cool. I mean, maybe of course I want to fit in. Of course I don't. But I think it's a status, like this seeking status, like look at me, like that's the kind of thing that I'm like, I don't know, and that's what it portrays to me sometimes is like trying to be cool.
It 100% can be, and that's why I say it can be. Now here's the thing. This is the reason, and maybe people can accuse me of taking this too personal. Okay, I'll own that. Because there is a little bit of a personal stake, even though that's not the reason I posted this. I'm a hypocrite. We're all hypocrites in different things. We don't intend to be hypocrites. So I'm not here saying I'm free from hypocrisy. But on this issue, the hypocrisy really did bother me. Why? I have taken pictures of myself before with a cigar and uploaded them. Am I uploading that to get status or, hey, look at me, I'm really cool? Now, some people may interpret it that way, and that's fine. They're entitled to their interpretation because it is subjective. Why did
Yeah.
and I'm talking about me personally, why did I upload it? I uploaded it because I actually, as I said before, I don't like many pictures of myself, but cigar smoking is something I like. I upload a picture in which I think, hey, this looks cool, going to upload it and share it with my friends. That's as far as my part goes.
Right.
I
Well,
can't speak. Well, just 2 seconds. Sorry, I can't speak to why they did it. Right. So
No, I
for
know.
me, the entire point of it was, don't say it's cringy because it's guys you don't like doing it. Versus when your guy does it, you don't say peep about it because that to me is hypocrisy.
Yeah, and I think that definitely happens. where but there, I guess to me there's complicating factors to this, because when I look at this, it's not that I would necessarily call it cringe. Maybe I would. Maybe I would. I don't know. But it's more like when two different people do the same thing, some people look cool doing it and some people don't.
Okay.
I think that's possible. And
But
there
would you
might be
say
different
that's-
reasons for that.
Would
you
you
know,
say
there
it's
might
subjective though?
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
but I think that, you know, maybe it's a little bit of a, it could be that you disagree with someone, but it could also be that some people you understand subtext. Like we have unconscious connections we make. We understand subtext. We understand like a persona that people give off. So like when you do things because you're not constantly trying to seek clout, at least the way you come across is that you're not trying to come. So when you do the
Like they're
smoking
hitting me.
thing, it looks cooler than when someone who's clout seeking does it. You see what I mean? And that's what I'm
Well-
saying. These guys, they're kind of like not cool guys.
Right.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
No,
they
no.
come across as trying to be cool. Like that's
Sure.
all I'm saying. You know?
Yeah, sure. I get all of that. I 100% do. But
I'm not
that's
disagreeing with the hypocrisy
Oh,
thing. That's why I
I
said
I know
I'm
you're not.
not one of those people who defends Durbin doing it. I
No.
will say this though. In my opinion, Durbin does come across more cool than those guys.
Sure,
And I
that-
think it
that's
has
fine.
to do with him maybe just being a little bit more.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
sharing my screen for a second, Tim, just before we wrap up.
Yeah. Sure. Let me put it on a. There we go. All right.
Right. So this is all I said. Get out of the way. Today I learned that smoking is cringe if it's not your guys, but
Yeah.
if it's your guys, then it is not cringe. Now, 12K viewed it, 311 liked it, 15 retweets, 38 comments, but that's not showing all the sub comments that are under the comments, because that goes on for a mile itself. So a lot of them I answered, a lot of them I didn't answer. But what became clear to me very, very, very early on is exactly what I was saying in the beginning. And you're right, Tim, that there is subtext involved. For the majority of the people you see, it was got nothing to do with smoking. It was just who was in the picture. Because there were people coming to my post saying, oh, I like Joel Webb and he's based. There was other people coming in being like, I can't believe you're defending Joel Webb. That's what I'm saying. This is the dimension of social media that I hate. People cannot read what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
They always try to imply what you're not saying. So for me, all I was pointing out was James White suddenly came out and said smoke, and he didn't clarify. He just said smoking is cringy and he doesn't like it. But yet he has been in videos with Doug Wilson where Doug Wilson has been smoking. Or Jeff Durbin has been smoking a cigar. And James White never came out and said smoking is cringy to them. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if some no, and I've never disagreed with if that but what I'm adding to this my opinion. And my opinion is that they are not very cool. and I don't, I mean that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not. Like look at them. Like now maybe someone are looking at them that is so cool. And I just look at them and think,
me, I
no,
don't
they're
even
really
think-
not.
Yeah, but for me, I don't even think it's got anything to do with being cool. Because, like, at the end of the day, again, this is why I keep saying remove it from Joel Webb and Calvin Robinson. Put Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Velma in that picture. You would have less people coming on that comment section and saying, this is so cringy, or these people aren't cool.
So if you put Scooby-Doo, Velma, whoever,
Shaggy.
people would comment according to those characters. If you put, you know, I'm trying to think other cartoon characters, then they would comment, and sometimes it would be funny, sometimes it would look cool, and that's the point. When I look at these guys, knowing who they are, now the reason I said I'm not hypocritical is because I'm not saying smoking is cool when Durbin does it.
Yep.
Other than to say, maybe because of who's doing it, you know, there could be mental associations that people make. Because
Yeah.
I do actually think when some people do things, it's cool. Now, obviously, it's contextual. Like, what style looks cool? Well, it depends what era you're living in. It depends on your generation. Depends even maybe what culture you're in. Like, there's so many contextual things. For me, I think these guys are always trying to raise their clout. And okay, you know, I mean, I think that's a pretty uncool thing to do. I think part of being cool is just being who you are. It's being who you are. I mean, and maybe they are being who they are. I don't know, but I don't grasp that from them. And again, this is my opinion. I feel like a lot of the things they do are trendy things. And that to me is one of the signs that you're not actually being cool, is you can't stand up and just have an opinion that is truly your opinion. You have to follow whatever the trends are. You have to be on the cutting edge of what's cool with the young people. And it's like, look, you can love young people, but if you're an older guy like I am, like I'm middle-aged now, I don't need to try to impress them. I just need to be who I am. I need to love them and understand them, but I don't need to be cool and say, look at all the hip things that I can do. And that's where things like, you know, smoking, if it's really you, like if that's really you, fine. And it probably looks cool. But if it looks like you're just trying to be cool, then it's not cool. Like, that's my opinion.
I get that, and I don't disagree, because obviously it's your opinion, but that's also part of my issue, though. But like, outside of the context of my tweet, I'm not even addressing whether they look cool or cringe or whether it's for clout or power. My tweet was just purely that James was being hypocritical, which he was. But of course, people can't read properly, and I don't say that to be horrible, but like,
I know.
social
I'm just
media,
adding something separate.
oh yeah, no, I'm not pushing back against you. I'm just saying in general, my biggest gripe with the whole thing was, I don't care whether you think, and I mean me personally, I don't care whether you think I'm the biggest idiot on the face of the planet because I enjoy a pipe or a cigar. That's fine. That's your opinion. It doesn't hurt me. Now, I genuinely do enjoy smoking. I like it. It's relaxing. I don't do it all the time. It's occasional for me, right? Now, do I upload pictures of me smoking? Sure. But that doesn't mean I'm smoking as often as I upload the pictures. I just have a lot of those pictures saved, and I upload them at different points. That's all. But what I would point out is, yeah, like Joel said, it rules for thee, but not for me. Exactly. That's part of it. Some dude says he wants to stop smoking cigarettes. Yeah, I think that would be a good thing to do, because like cigarettes are full of tar and nicotine as well. So, not saying pipes and cigars are great, but they are healthier than cigarettes. I will say that much. But all I'm saying with that is yeah, remove. That's why I keep saying remove Joel and all them from it. I honestly don't care that Joel and them were in the picture. I just don't like hypocrisy, especially, and again, maybe there is an element where it maybe touched a nerve with me, because I looked at it and I was like, hey, who are you to say that smoking is bad because you're around people that smoke and you don't call them out? So yeah, you could look at it and say, yeah, maybe he touched a nerve with me. I wouldn't have an issue with that. But I think we all hate hypocrisy, even though we are hypocrites ourselves.
And
So
I'll
for
tell
me,
you where people are most hypocritical is when they are, I hate to say this, but you know, the Reformed community, if I can just lump them all together,
sure.
they can be pretty critical people.
You've heard me say that on the show myself.
And I think it's partly that Reformed people sometimes, I don't want to say pride themselves, but they give off this vibe of, there are churches that are wrong because they're worldly, they're just appealing to whatever's popular. And I think that's where I think Reformed people should also be like, that's what I'm trying to express. Like, being cool should not even be your goal. Like, that's like, just just be who you are. Now, maybe they are being who they are, and if that's who they are, I'm actually,
Yeah.
I would be fine with that. That being said, it seems like while there's definitely hypocrisy going on, that a lot of times arises because we can be very critical people. And I think when we're being critical people in general, we're going to be more prone to being hypocritical.
Yeah.
But you know me, you've seen me enough. Like, I don't go after churches because of aesthetics.
No.
I don't go after them. Whereas some people do. It's like, because your church doesn't look old fashioned, I don't like you. And it's like, well, then you're setting yourself up to be a hypocrite.
That's what I'm saying. Like, not to bring him into this, because it feels like, unfortunately, I mention the guy's name all the time, and even recently agreed with him on something, which was a miracle to me. But like, that's one of my biggest criticisms of Redeem Simmer, is it seems like everything about him is aesthetics.
Yeah.
And it's like, But anyway, because we're near the 3 hour mark, we will wrap up.
We were supposed to wrap up a while ago. Sorry.
We were. No, don't apologize.
I brought up this.
No, it's good conversation. I'm not rushing it. I'm just saying so
It's
we
your
don't
5
hit-
liters of water is coming through. I get it.
No, actually, I'm all right at this time. I just mean so we don't extend it on any further. But let's wrap up the conversation that we're on. It's true. This is why I say, if you're in a camp, no matter what it is, whether it's, a theological camp or, whatever else, a sporting club or whatever it is, you should be the first person to call out the things in your own camp.
Right.
Now, do I always do that perfectly? No, but I am known. Even if you ask some of my young guys that I mentor, I am one of the harshest critics of the reformed, quote unquote, world. Why? Because I hate my fellow brothers and sisters? No, because I try and hold ourselves to a higher standard. I can't look at someone, in a different camp and think, oh, they don't have enough reverence for God, where sometimes we do the opposite. We think we have reverence for God because we have, in our minds, this more weighty intellectual. But am I actually being reverent towards God whenever I dismiss one of his sins? Pardon me, one of his sons and daughters, because to my mind, they're just not intellectual enough, or they don't understand theology. That's me actually being why am I
Irreverent. You're reverent.
Thank you. That's me being
I can
irreverent.
speak English sometimes.
Sometimes, and apparently I can't. That's me in that case being irreverent to God. But yet that is something that the reformed world does en masse. That's why I think Matt Everhard, one of the best examples of men online that I think represents the reformed world well. He's charitable to other groups. He holds his ground in what he actually believes. He's not a pushover. But you don't see Matt Everhard online calling people, the R word or, the N word or whatever else to dismiss them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great example. And I know some people in the chat don't agree with Matt on a lot of things. That's fine. But Matt is someone who genuinely tries to be charitable. Myself, I am not great at it. There is times I slip up. But I do try, especially within my own group, to rein people in and be like, dude, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all have to do.
Yes. And that's really important. So yeah, this has been a lot of different directions we've gone in today, and I still haven't quite finished the Iron Brew. But
All right, well, let's get into a new topic. So Tim, are you young or older?
Oh, why would you do that? Why would you ask that?
Amongst the pigeons in the comments section.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we can talk about that some week. Sure. But remember, next week we're not going to be doing this because I'll be officiating my son's wedding, so I'll be a little preoccupied.
Bigfoot's wedding.
But we'll plan. Yeah, Bigfoot. The Bigfoot.
If your son watches this, I hope he doesn't take offense.
Very unlikely that he'll watch it, but I might mention that we were comparing him to Bigfoot.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging with us, and we will be back in a couple weeks. In a couple weeks, we'll be back, and we'll have Rollo back too, I guess.
Yep, he's currently least up here, so there we go.
Remember too that we still have this merch available, the DE Manly merch, and if you go to the Layman Apologist store, you can get this and other merch. But this specific merch is going to go toward the Ecuador mission trip that I'm going on this fall. And yes, thank you, Philip. I see you there. Take care to you too, and to all of you. Really appreciate you watching and interacting with us. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Say bye-bye.